murder children in issue 2. And it was just like, don't kill children in issue 2.
Well, I mean,
it's your hero. Don't do that.
Okay, but he's not a hero; he's an anti-hero, right?
Yeah.
That is not a sufficiently compelling explanation for me to reduce the threat level of his enemies, regardless of whether or not they're children. They're also humans.
Yeah, I think, and like it's people don't quite have an understanding. I think they really dive into the idea of, I don't care about black and white. My hero is evil, yo. But if you watch Dexter, which is a good show, last few seasons it got a little weak and entirely preposterous in moments. There was some late season stuff where Dexter is taking the kids out for camping, and then he solves the mystery, leaves the camping site, sets up the kill room, captures the guy. I'm like, there's no way, this could be happening. But still, even though Dexter is a killer, even though he's evil, he still has a code that we, the viewer, can appreciate and say, I like having Dexter around, despite the fact I have to admit he is evil, because, he's got this code of doing bad things only to bad people and kind of protecting me, the viewer. And we accept that. But when other people maybe don't get that and they're writing bad characters, it's like, bad characters starts putting babies on spikes. I'm like,
I mean, even the Punisher, right? Like, he's an anti-hero because he doesn't believe in a gray zone between good and evil. Like that's
right.
He will just kill anyone he thinks is evil, and that's fine. But that's also the Christ of his character, is that he's doing good by doing bad. But ultimately, the anti-hero works when their goal is to do good, right? And you have that tension, like in Dexter. Because otherwise it's just inhumane.
Yeah. And I guess
we have to cheer for this guy, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. All right, let's see what kind of cool scripts we have for tonight. So I've done an update. Oh wait, I may even have a note here from my Discord. Is this mid-issue or an ongoing series? Is this the very beginning? Unfortunately, this is my first one of these, and I don't have any content. I will hold on. I'll issue him a reply later. So, all right, we got my story, Palace of the Golden Princess. I've done some updates there. I got really high hopes. As a comic creator, which is, I guess, a bit like the movie equivalent of like a movie producer. I'm looking at the space in and around my fantasy story, and I'm seeing dollar signs. I think this is a hot property here. Because, what? You don't think so?
Oh no, it's not that. I thought the same thing. So about my story, so it didn't take off.
But Larry, what does your feeling good about your property have to do with me feeling good about my property?
Nothing.
Okay, there we go.
Fantasy's a hard thing to get into. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
I mean, I feel good about my fantasy property that I brought a month ago or so.
Yeah.
It's a fantasy property. You've got to invest in that world a little bit as a creator. You have to create the damn world.
Yeah. All right.
Everyone knows that the only.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say, everyone knows that the only successful comic book properties are capes and superheroes.
Exactly. All right. So Savage has CG Mysteries. And then, all right, Primal Chaos is... Larry, do we have a Primal Chaos this evening? Or is that an old script? We do?
No, that's the part 2 of number 3. So.
Oh, I want. All right, let's start here.
Okay.
I'm gonna eat my ice cream first. Let's do this.
Not sure, but.
All right, which page are we starting on?
Page 11. I made some page errors, so there's actually it goes to 21. So,
okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's fine. All right, Larry, tell us what happened up to now.
So up to now, we went back to the fight at the end of issue 2 between Jen, Samuel, and Gabriel, and that's where the story started.
Yes, you can get in on this. There's a link to join the live stream under writer stream links in the Discord.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Go ahead, Larry.
And then we flipped back over to Farouk before the fight happened, and we saw his story where he met up with the other Titan Hans, and Viviax showed up to save him. So,
she did. Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
So Farouk has run off, and Viviax is now facing off against the Titan. So
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Who's narrating?
Let's see. You can narrate, Preston.
Very well. Who's Viviax?
Who is Viviax? We'll get John to do Viviax.
All right.
Yeah.
Page 11, panel 1. Hans strikes down with all 6 arms, exploding the cobblestone road beneath him. Viviax flies towards the viewer backwards from the force of the impact. Next panel. Facing towards Viviax, she flies into a storefront window, smashing through the glass. Next panel. Wide shot. Viviax lay in a pile of rubble, a bit of glass, and wood sticking out of various parts of her body. Black blood running from the wound. She smiles, laughing a bit.
I bet this stuff is way more fun when it's not your body getting tossed around.
Next page, next panel. Point of view of Viviax. The massive silhouette of Hans appears in the hole she made in the front of the store.
All right. Danny, you can do Hans.
Pathetic. Is that all you can manage? Hold on. This is Hans and Franz, right? We're going to pump you up.
There we go. All right.
How did father and mother ever lose to you binary scum?
There we go.
Oh, next panel.
Yep.
View from the side. Hans reaches 2 of his skinny, long arms through the window opening and grabs Viviax by the waist, picking her off the floor. Next panel, close-up side view. Hans brings Viviax face-to-face with himself. He smiles widely, his tongue licking against his lower lips.
A sweet treat for myself.
Next panel, same view, slightly wider. Hans's jaw unhinges and opens enough to swallow Viviax. His growing purple saliva drips on her, burning her skin where it touches. She looks genuinely terrified.
This is not how I wanted to be eaten today.
Whipping. We could get the humor.
Yep.
All right. Next panel. Wide shot, looking towards Hans. Viviax back to the viewer. A blast of air hits the 2, blowing debris and shaking the ground. Next panel. Close up. 3/4 view of Hans' left shoulder. Hans looks up and sees the crest of an explosion rise up over the building line. Next page, panel 1, close up on Viviax from behind. Hans behind her, facing forward. He refocuses on her, tearing down as he prepares to swallow. Panel 2, same view. A second shockwave hits the 2, forcing Hans head to head to lean sideways from the force. Next panel, wide shot from above. Hans faces the viewer, looking up. His jaw has snapped closed. He looks annoyed. In his frustration, he talks out loud, replying to an unseen person.
I am rather busy, Mrs. Fairgate.
Next panel, close up on Hans. He closes his eyes and sighs in disappointment.
Fine, I am on my way.
Next panel, wide shot. Hans tosses Viviax over his shoulder.
Fighting after eating causes me indigestion.
Next panel, close up on Viviax as she impacts the ground face first. Next page, panel 1, wide shot from above. Viviax lays broken and bloodied on her back on top of a broken cobblestone. A voice speaks to her off panel.
What an asshole.
Skinny, you there?
The devil smiled down.
Okay, you can do Asmodeus then.
Well played, daughter.
Next panel, point of view from Viviax, another succubus demon, Asmodeus, sin lord of lust, stands over her looking down with a cheeky smile on her face.
You could have at least got a few licks in on him to make look convincing.
Next panel, Viviax sits up, shooting.
Make it look convincing, yeah.
Shooting an annoyed look over her shoulder.
I was getting there. I plan to rip the Titan's tongue out. Seems our rogue angel blew his load a little early. Not surprising if he's like his brother Lucifer.
Next panel, wide shot. Asmodeus helps Viviax to her feet.
No worries, daughter. The plan proceeds. Now let's get you fixed up.
Next panel, close-up, shoulder level of the two demons. Asmodeus kisses Viviax passionately. Red, glowing energy is seen traveling from Asmodeus' mouth and down Viviax's throat. Next panel, view looking over Asmodeus' right shoulder, head and shoulders crop. Viviax steps back and smiles. She appears healthy and healed.
Just like new. Now let's have some real fun.
Page 15, panel 1, close-up, head and shoulders, height. Jin grabs Gabriel around his helmet with her left hand and begins to squeeze. The metal on the exosuit begins to buckle. Next panel, wide shot. Samuel charges face on towards the viewer. His eyes blazing energy, purple left, blue right. His mouth wide in a scream of rage. Next panel, Jen catches him by the head with her right hand before he can strike. Next panel, close-up. Samuel jabs his arm blade into Jen's right forearm. Black and purple blood spew out from the impact. Next panel, close-up on Jen's face as she screams in pain.
Danny, you can take over Jen.
You motherfucker!
There we go.
Next panel, close-up on Jen's left hand as she releases Gabriel from her grip. Page 16, panel 1, wide shot. Samuel's head still gripped in her left hand. Jen whips her right fist into Samuel's abdomen, her arm blade slicing against his side, leaving a gash, glowing red blood washing out over it. Next panel, Jen reels her right arm up, aiming her blade for Samuel's neck. Forced perspective from Jen's right arm blade looking down towards Samuel, still grasped in left hand. Next page, close-up. Samuel starts repeating, stabbing Jen's forearm, trying to free him, show multiple arm positions, stabbing with motion lines. Next panel, close-up on Gabriel's spear tip as it swings up through the air, the end glowing purple. Next panel, the spear slices Jen's left hand and arm blade off at the wrist as she swings down, black and purple blood exploding from the wound. Next panel, close-up. Jen's hand releases from Samuel's head. Page 17, panel 1. Jen falls backward onto the ground, screaming in pain, gripping her wound with her remaining hand. Next panel, close-up on Jen's face as she cries out for help.
I need an extract, Hans. Now!
Panel, point of view from Jen. Samuel, now back on his feet, walks menacingly towards Jen. He fires, highlighting his back, casting a long shadow.
Yeah. You got it.
White. Next panel, white shot. Samuel's back to the viewer. Gabriel lands between Samuel and Jen. Next panel, close-up. Gabriel strikes an aggressive pose. Spear pointed towards Samuel.
Skinny, you can do Gabriel.
Enough, brother. Father should have not permitted you and your lot continuance. Look at this mess you have brought.
That's continuance.
Continuance, yeah.
Continuance. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the word.
Yeah. Page 18, panel 1. Close-up of Samuel's face, his eyes closed.
Okay, I guess we'll do this one. You blame me for this? You cut off my arm, ripped the wings from my body, and threw me into hell. I found something worse than hell, and it made me this. You dare still call me brother? You, brother, you.
Same view as last panel. Samuel opens his eyes and screams.
You made me.
Next page, wide shot, extreme angle, looking up from ground level. Samuel leaps high in the air, raising his left arm to strike down at Gabriel. Gabriel in the foreground readies a defensive posture. Artist note, add speed lines from the ground to Samuel's position in the air to show his path. Next panel, point of view. Samuel aims his arm blade downward towards Gabriel's head. Next panel, wide shot, side view. Just before Samuel's impact, Gabriel spins his spear up, cutting off Samuel's arm blade. Red and purple glowing blood explode from the slash. The spear arcs purple energy from its blade. Page 19, panel 1, same view. Samuel still in midair. Gabriel leaps behind Samuel, grabbing the back of his head. Next panel, close up from the front, Gabriel drives Samuel's left side of his head into the asphalt. It explodes around the impact. Next panel, point of view from Gabriel as he stomps down on Samuel's head with his right foot, driving him further into the broken ground. Next panel, wide shot from the side. Gabriel readies a killing blow aimed at Samuel's neck with his spear.
I would permit you to repent, brother, but you are beyond redemption. I hope oblivion meets you well.
That's some cold shit, man. Next panel, close up. Samuel rises his head up out of the rubble, still looking down. Glowing red and purple blood gushes down from the left side of his face.
I believe otherwise.
Page 20, panel 1, close up of Samuel's left arm. What's remaining of his limb glows bright purple. Next panel, wide shot. View facing Gabriel's back on a 3/4 angle in the foreground. Samuel lunges around. What's left of his left arm slicing upward toward Gabriel's left arm. Sparks and blood fly out from the impact. Artist note, add speed line to the direction of the body swing and upward angle. Next panel, wide shot, left side facing the viewer. Gabriel lands back first on the ground. Blood gushes out of his missing limb. His spear flies off his right side. Next panel, wide shot, head to waist view facing Samuel. Samuel glares down at Gabriel. Glowing red and purple blood still dripping from the left side of his face and his missing arm, as well as the wound on his right abdomen from Jen. Energy arcs also shoot out in all directions from the base of his missing limb.
You help pass judgment on thousands. You dare claim your morality over me?
Next panel, wide shot, looking down, the body of Gabriel lay sprawled T-pose on the ground, the blood still flowing from the missing limb. The shadow of Samuel creeps over him.
I condemned millions, Samael. Millions. You have no idea what you have missed in the many years past. Perona. I did it in the name of our Father and would gladly do it again.
Close up on Samuel's glowing eyes, the left purple, the right blue.
I thought you might feel that way.
Do you want page 21?
Yeah, we'll just read it.
Okay, all right, let's do it. Panel 1, side view, close up. Samuel leans down over Gabriel, looking him in the face.
Tell Father, I regret what led me here. I will repent for my sins. I will do my duty and protect the future of these people. I will remain and bring hope to this world.
Next panel, wide shot, same side view. Samuel stands to his feet, continuing to look down at Gabriel. He points to Jen, still laying on the other end of the parking lot in the distance.
The force that brought me here, the force this creature serves, it is the real threat to this world.
You are a fool, Samael. We know of that power. It is why I hunt you, why they hunt you. Every being in all creation should fear you. You do not know how dangerous you are.
Panel 3, close up. Gabriel quietly reaches his right hand out, grabbing hold of his spear. Next panel, wide shot. Gabriel quickly drives the tip of the spear into Samuel's chest. Okay.
And then we get oblivion.
And then we get, yeah, and then just this
No,
is
there's more
what
pages.
Gabriel sees here.
Yeah.
Nothing. He sees
Yeah.
nothing because he's dead. All right.
Samuel
So-
gets stabbed, not Gabriel, but yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah.
Okay.
All
Yeah.
right, cool. So, welcome, little movie perp. How are you?
Doing very well.
Okay.
How you guys doing?
Good.
We're all right. So,
Everyone's fine.
new people joining. Always
New
cool.
peeps.
New peeps. So, did you catch those pages from Larry?
I did. I caught the later half, unfortunately.
Okay.
Not the whole thing.
All right. Well, what did you think?
I thought it was pretty good. It was gory, so I love it automatically.
It
You
was
got that
gory.
going.
Yeah. He didn't shy away from violence, which I appreciate. I'm very much an advocate of violence.
Violence against angels, a little sacrilegious right there.
Yeah, it was crazy, right? That was crazy stuff. So yeah, we had Gabriel doing some cold-blooded gangster shit, and then we had this crazy angel on angel limb hacking battle extravaganza It was like out of Star Wars. Everyone's just hacking limbs off. Just left. and
Yeah,
right.
you gotta have the limbs hacking.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I didn't even know it was angels. That makes it so much cooler.
Yeah. So, and then we had Viviax, of course. I think you did well with her.
Okay.
I like seeing her on the screen. So it was cool, and yeah, I found it very enjoyable. I think it's a pretty strong issue.
Cool.
John.
Lots of really cool action. The fight scenes I thought were very well written and choreographed. I didn't feel like I was getting lost or that the panels were overwritten. I thought the panels were pretty well tight and contained to what the visuals were supposed to be. So I thought that was pretty good. And yeah, the interaction between Viviax and the new Asmodeus characters seems interesting. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see where that goes.
Savage.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree with John. I like the action. The violence is pretty cool, and you definitely he definitely was very sure on like what you wanted the panel to look like. So there's no confusion on like what you think is going on in the panel. So I like that part of the scripts.
All right, Skinny.
I enjoyed all the action. I really love the violence. I love how descriptive it is. I really like the addition of like how Gabriel was coughing from his wounds and everything. I thought it was cool, man. You entertained me. Good job. Gold star.
Gold star. Danny.
I mean, this is probably the best angel on angel action we're going to read tonight.
There you go.
I'm not sorry, John. No, I liked it. Like it was
My
really
angel
clear.
on angel action is a little bit different type of action. That's okay.
I mean, yes, it's a definitely different kind of action. It was clear. There was a clear through line of what was going on. There was a twist. There was a really cool bit of dialogue and world building at the end there. And it's a pretty good way to wrap up an issue.
I think it's the middle of the issue, not wrapping it up.
Well,
Page 21, 22.
Near the end.
Yeah, it's pretty close to the end.
Yeah,
so,
there's maybe 4 or 5 pages left, something like that.
Yeah. But all right, constructive notes. Who has constructive notes?
I've got one.
Okay.
I just got to say, you got to add some banter in or something, Larry. Like, I really like the action. I like everything. But I counted. You only have 26 lines of dialogue out of 11 pages. And I just feel like you need to add just a little bit of banter, like, during the fights and everything. Because otherwise, people are going to read, like, this 11 pages like that. Like, reading is important. You want them to stop and look and understand what's going on. You want to slow them down a little bit, too. At least that's my opinion. But I would honestly say you need to add a little bit more banter within the fight to help keep people engaged.
I mean, I feel like Samael sometimes functions as our narrator, although in this issue it didn't seem like he was narrating too much.
No.
Okay.
No, he doesn't doing a lot of talking at all. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because one way to do like the tough silent type is you're hearing their thoughts as they're narrating like Sam Spade out of one of those 20s hard-boiled detective novels kind of thing. I don't know, that's a fun.
Is it bad that now I want to read a story in which an angel exiled to Earth is Sam Spade in a 1920s detective novel?
Yeah. Where Raymond Chandler was the author I was thinking of.
Yeah, Chandler's great. So I agree with Skinny's point. I think there's nothing to slow down the reader during a very long action scene. And the impact of what's happening, the twists and turns of the battle, who's winning now, who's winning then. That's really something that you want your reader to dwell on, because you've got this really sexy, not in a Jean Lamont kind of way, action. And so giving them like some of the beats of the battle, or like explaining what people are doing with their superpowers. I know it's tropey and it's not contemporary indie decompressed storytelling, but it really, really helps. I had a question, actually, sort of relating to this. A few versions of this ago, when we were a few streams ago, when we were reading, I think the first part of this issue, wasn't there a third character who popped in to interrupt a scene very much like this one?
Pretty much, yeah.
So why hasn't that happened yet? Because we're at the end of the story. Like, this is the to be. Is this not the to be continued moment?
No, it's not. There's still a few pages left. So.
Okay. I continue to question that that intro, if there's so much time in between that they're just going to show up at the end. But yeah, that's my constructives.
Okay. Anyone else?
Yeah, I just kind of feel like you introduce the character of Asmodeus, and like since he's kind of the Lord of Lust, I mean, I got a little bit of vibe for that, but I feel like you could like add in a little more dialogue with him to show just how more creepy he is, to kind of define his personality type.
Yeah. Sure.
Screaming fangirls.
Yeah.
There you go.
Wherever he goes, it's like that.
Or just him being like the
thing.
Or just, or you could slowly describe him like Harvey Weinstein or something like that, like some, obvious creeper stuff.
It's a female character, so.
Oh, it's female? Oh, okay, I missed that.
I thought
Henrietta Weinstein.
Yeah.
Oh, so okay, so you got inspired off of John's work.
No, not really.
John, you're inspiring new creators.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had one thing I wanted to add. I kind of felt a little lost on the stakes, and I felt like there was some things like, I don't know, I guess I kind of feel like that at this point in the story, nearing the end of the third issue, we're already, I'm assuming you're doing a 5-issue arc?
Maybe. That's my plan, but yeah.
I don't know, I just kind of feel like that by the end of number 3, we should be a little bit more further along in the plot. And I still kind of have no idea what the story is. So, I don't know. I don't recall. I mean, I understand what, Samael's journey is, and I understand that people are trying to get him, but I still don't understand the whys.
Well, without doing a giant exposition dump, which is probably what's going to happen eventually, but yeah.
Well, see, you want to sprinkle that throughout the entire story.
I thought that's what I was doing.
Look, if you can't go for a sex position, action exposition is good enough.
That is, yeah.
I don't know.
Anyway.
That was just my thought, that coming at this point, I kind of felt like I should know what the stakes and what the story are. And apparently we only just found out 10 pages ago that Farouk is like the key to something or another, and he's the chosen one. That doesn't make any sense yet.
No. That was something you said. That has not been determined in the story. So.
I totally, then I see, again, proving my point, I have no idea what the actual story is. I have no idea what the actual world stakes are.
Well, what I've got so far is Samuel was a fallen angel as part of like a group. And then he ended up on Earth somehow. I'm not exactly sure. That part I'm a little fuzzy on how he got here. In fact, I don't even know if he knows, but he kind of started realizing some of his history and memories and stuff, and so we got to see some of the cool heaven hell battle, and we kind of got that there are people, God's minions are after him.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I got all that.
Yeah, and I is there any? I did. All right. Well, what else is there, Larry?
Well, there's the secret organization on Earth run by the Titans. They're after him too. But
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So we got our character that we know a little bit about, and we know people are after him, but we don't know why they're after him.
Exactly.
And that's my point. My point is the whys. We don't know why anything. Right now, it's just stuff. Stuff is happening. A lot of stuff has been happening. Stuff has been happening for 3 issues, but I don't know why. So that's so it's like my investment is tepid because I don't know why. Why is he important? Why is he here? What's he supposed to do? That's my point. I just feel like by this point in the story, I should know what the whys are, or at least some of the big whys.
Okay, fair enough.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right.
In terms of the exposition dump, I don't know if this applies to comics. I'm a real big like film and TV guy. I don't know if this would work for comics, but like there's that old like that the way James Cameron did it in the Terminator, which was a huge expedition dump in the car chase. Maybe you could do like a version of that because you like the gore's awesome, the fighting's awesome. If there's like an expedition dump, while there's like this like the goriest thing you could come up with, I think that could be really interesting.
Well, yeah. I mean, like the thing is, like after issue 3, I wanted to put some really bad stakes into it. So he's gonna get he's pretty hurt at the end of this issue, right?
Yes,
he's been stabbed multiple times and whatnot. Yeah. So that's gonna happen, and then issue 4 is going to be the exposition dump. So
okay,
that's where you're gonna get. That's where you're gonna get more characters introduced. You're gonna learn more about what's going on. They're going to go into hiding, blah blah. So yeah.
Right, but I don't know why he's beaten up, and I don't know why I should care that he should get better.
Well, what Larry's saying is that he's about to go on the run with somebody, and Terminator style have to explain it to them.
Exactly. So that is sort of my plan, anyway.
Yeah. So
it's a good thing
we're doing the John Connor, or Sarah Connor, and Kyle Reese reunion next issue, and all will be explained.
Right, but in the Terminator, that didn't happen 45 minutes to an hour into the movie. It happened in the first 20 minutes.
Did it? I don't know that that's true. I
don't think that.
I don't think that's true.
Yeah.
I think you. All right. So let's go with the Terminator. Okay. So we open up. We kind of get the futuristic world and some bad things, and then we see, Reese come back. And kind of get close, and we don't know what's going on. We see the time travel device, but we don't know what's going on. Then we see Arnold come back, and then he kills Bill Paxton and takes his clothes. And then we're going like half an hour into that, because then the Terminator is like looking at the phone book, and he starts killing random Sarah Connors. And then we go and meet Lance Hendrickson at the police office, and they get an investigation going. So that exposition isn't until well into the movie.
Same with the second one. It pretty much follows the same pacing and stuff. So.
That exposition starts at 35 minutes into the movie.
Okay.
Well, let me rephrase that. The chase scene starts at 35 minutes into the movie.
Right.
And the chase scene ends with Reese getting arrested.
Yeah.
At 50 minutes into the movie.
Let's just say that
and it's a 90 minute.
Let's say that Larry is choosing to style it with the exposition a little later than you would prefer.
Yeah, that's okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah. Sometimes mystery does work. Again, I don't have any context, but like the Matrix, how long did it take? Like no one knew what the fuck was going on for a while, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I understand. I guess. Okay.
What you're saying is there has to be kind of a twist to come with that, right? Like, why are we waiting? Like, if you're doing just an exposition dump and it's stuff that we could have yeah, I guess we could have figured that out. Versus if there's like a twist to it or like a revelation within that exposition that might like help, like for a reason for why it's later. If that makes sense.
What if they?
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking, what if you do the reverse of that, where you do like the exposition dump in the beginning, like how Star Wars does with its opening crawl?
If you actually, if I go back to the original script, what happened?
What if there's nothing wrong with Larry putting the exposition in issue 4? Have we considered that possibility?
As long as
giving suggestions so John can be happy.
Yeah. I just thought it'd be kind of neat to do like a cold fish out of water story where there's a bunch of action and crazy characters coming in, and then eventually you kind of figure out what's going on. You know,
Sure. Yeah.
Just something different.
Yeah. I mean, look, we don't find out about the Force and Jedi's until pretty well into Star Wars. You know, so
it's about I think 40 minutes into the movie almost. Yeah.
All right, Comicsgate Mysteries. So,
all right,
let's.
This sounds interesting.
Yeah, always. So here we go. All right, Savage, tell us about Comicsgate Mysteries.
Basically, I wrote like a script for like another Comicsgate mystery a while back, and I just feel like I didn't know what to do with the story. So this one I got better of an idea. I think you'll like. It's basically Scooby Doo. But through members from the Discord as characters.
I like it.
All right. Page 1, panel 1. A red truck is driving. All right, look, wait. Just a note. I want you to the same note I gave Mulby.
Yeah.
And Larry, you know what? You've gotten so good, I don't even praise you anymore. But Larry used to write passive, and now Larry writes active. And active is better than passive. So
I didn't even know the difference until you pointed it out, and then I realized it's just like, hey, this is pretty cool.
So instead of a red truck is driving, like a red truck drives, through the deep.
I cheated. I watched you tear them all a new asshole, so I
learned. I mean, did you cheat or are you smart?
Exactly.
Learn from other people's mistakes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So a red truck drives through a deep southern woods on a muddy dirt road. Rain falls and light showers, and there are creepy yellow eyes of creatures hidden within the shadows of the trees. Mm-hmm. Well, and so this is like 4 passive statements, is right in a row. You see how it's pervading your writing, like everything is passive. Mulby in the driver's seat with Preston riding shotgun. A black man in his late 20s with an athletic build and dreadlocks. Preston, a middle-aged white man with sandy brown hair. In the back are Bean and William. Bean, a brown-haired woman with hazel-colored eyes and a pretty body. William, a black cat with a large patch of white fur on his chest and has bright blue eyes. Preston looks out the window in panel 3. Who should voice Preston?
I think Preston should voice
Preston. We'll do John.
John, there you go. Good choice.
As long as I'm not doing a cameo in this, no problem. It sure is nice that your uncle invited us to see his whiskey brewery, Mulby.
Mulby smiles as he drives the truck.
I totally want to do this. Hell yeah. My uncle's a real cool dude.
He's a fan.
He's in 2 books now. So.
Yeah. William yawns while lying down on the back seat. Go ahead, William.
Oh, me?
Why not?
Okay. I'll say all that booze. I thought I was in heaven. I was genuinely surprised you had someone who was actually cool in your family.
Panel 6, close-up shot of Mulby's foot slamming on the brakes. Panel 7, William flies forward from the back towards the dashboard. Page 2, panel 1, William squished face first up against the windshield in a cartoonish manner. Next panel, William fall. There we go. There we go. We had an action verb, and I'm happy to see it. William falls off the windshield onto the dashboard. We need someone to voice Bean.
Skinny.
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 Oh my gosh, William, are you okay?
Panel
Sorry,
3.
Bean.
William shakes out his fur with an angry cat face.
About as fun as it can be when some knucklehead tries to smash me through a windshield.
Panel 4. Moby looks straight ahead at something.
That wasn't intentional, my furry brother. Look.
Panel 5. Everyone looks at what Moby is looking at. Page 6. A wooden sign in the middle of the road reads Green Mill 1 mile away in white with an added message that read, Beware the swamp beast in big blood red paint. Page 3, panel 1, Moby gulps with the gulp SFX.
Bruh, that sign came out of nowhere, y'all. Almost hit it.
Water break. All right, Preston looks at Moby with an uneasy face.
What do you think the swamp beast is? Some kind of prank?
Next panel, William sits on the cup tray between the two of them, looking at the off-panel sign.
Sounds like your mom, Moby.
Shut up, you asshole.
Next panel, Bean crosses her arms and has a frown on her face.
Come on, guys. You're being like kids. We should check out this town. We've been driving for hours, and we could all use some time to stretch our legs.
Next panel, Moby gives a toothy smile.
That sounds great, Bean. We could use some fresh air and space. Also, I could use some dinner.
Next panel, William sits back down in his back seat and has a smile on his feline face.
As long as I can get a shot of whiskey, I'll be happy.
Page 4, panel 1, Bean frowns at William.
You're a cat. Cats don't drink whiskey. You're nuts.
Bitch, I used to be human, so I'm not gonna give up my love of whiskey.
Okay.
I'm getting some very strong Mike Tyson mysteries feel off this one.
Great. Yeah.
Next panel. And by the way, I absolutely love Mike Tyson mystery.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan. I get together with my daughter. We just binge that stuff. Where panel 2, Bean yells at William with an angry red face. Did we do that?
Nope.
Yeah,
You watch
okay.
your mouth, you mangy parasite.
Next panel, Preston shakes his head with a look of frustration on his face.
Let's all calm down and focus on what's going into this town.
Next panel, Bean nods her head in agreement.
I agree. We'll be there in no time.
Next panel, William lays down on the seat with his eyes half open.
Whatever you say, princess.
Preston, Moby, and Bean roll their eyes. Next page, panel 1, the red truck enters Greenville. It is a small southern town of old buildings with some being in need of repair. Next panel, Moby looks out the window with an eyebrow raised.
Man, this is like ghetto for white folk.
Next panel, William yawns.
Well, we are in an area where the IQ is probably below 75.
Next panel, Bean glares at William.
Skinny Bean.
Oh, sorry.
Skinny
That's me.
Yeah.
That's a very rude thing to say. We haven't even met anyone from this town yet.
Panel, Preston looks out at the passenger side window and stares at the town.
I want to agree with Bean on this one, but I think William might be right.
Next panel, Moby smiles joyously.
As long as they have good old southern cooking, I'll be happy.
Next page, panel 1, the gang enters a cute little diner with round wooden tables and checkered clothes of red and white. There is a bar at the back of the diner, and several people are sitting at the tables. Panel 2, a few of the customers stare at the gang with suspicious looks. Panel 3, Moby gives a wave with a bright smile on his face.
Hey, y'all. We're just passing through here on our way back home. I'm Molby. This here is the CG Mystery Crew.
Panel 4, William rolls his eyes.
It's okay if any of you think he's a weirdo.
Panel 5, Moby glares at William with burning red eyes like the devil. Panel 6, Preston walks forward between them.
What my colleagues really mean is that we're looking for some food and a place to stay the night.
Page 7. Preston is such a reasonable person. He just wants to do right.
Yeah.
Panel 1. A chubby guy dressed in a trench coat
God.
with an angry expression on his face gets up from his seat. This man is named Tug.
Okay.
What
Hey
you do
there.
is just start panel 1, just go Tug, comma, a chubby guy dressed in a trench coat, comma.
Can I do this?
Sure.
Hey there, newcomers. Always smell trouble, especially Yankees. Always smell trouble, especially Yankees. If I was you, I'd turn around and leave here town right away if you don't know what's good for y'all.
Tug gets up in Moby's face and glares at him.
I bet it was you who broke the goddamn mailbox. Sounds just like something a Yankee would do.
Page 3, Moby puts his right hand to gesture to Tug to back off.
I don't know what you're talking about, man, but we didn't do nothing. Back off.
Next panel, Tug clenches his fist and grits his teeth in anger.
You threaten me, son? I ought to knock you back in your mama's womb.
Panel 5, a middle-aged woman named Sally Field yells at Tug. She has bright blonde, medium platinum. She has bright blonde, medium length hair. Sally.
Who's doing Sally?
I don't know.
Okay.
Little movie perp.
I guess
I guess you could do it, Preston.
yeah.
Quit harassing my customers. If you don't shut up, Tug, then I'm going to throw you out. Tug looks down and walks away with a grimace on his face.
Damn it, woman! Never sees the danger of Yankees coming into this town, or this here town.
Page 6, panel 1, Sally smiles at Moby and the gang. I'm sorry about him yelling at y'all. This man hasn't been right for quite some time. At least he has his wife and kids. Panel 2, William looks at Tug and then back at Sally.
That nutcase has a wife and kids? What are they? The Manson family?
Next panel, Sally laughs. That's a good one. Next panel, William gives a toothy grin.
It's nice meeting someone with a sense of humor.
Next panel, Preston and Moby roll their eyes. Bean steps forward.
When we entered your town, the sign at the entrance said, "Beware of the swamp beast." What is that?
Next panel, everyone in the diner looked at them with nervous expressions on their faces. Next page, panel 1. Moby looks around at the staring people with a puzzled look in his face.
What?
Next panel, Tug slams his beer
Yeah, sorry,
mug
that
down.
pause was acting. Sorry, guys.
Nice. Nice.
Tug slams his beer mug down on the table and glares at them.
That swamp beast is the spawn of the devil. It terrorizes this town.
Panel 3, Tug stands up from his table and stares crazily at them.
That fiend destroyed my mailbox and tried to terrorize my family.
Next panel, Moby steps back and his hands up.
That sounds pretty crazy.
Next panel.
Yeah, okay.
Moby's
You caught
dialogue, Moby's dialogue needs to start with, well, I'm going to say this.
Yeah.
Like every line.
Just let me say this. You gotta rep Jersey.
Next panel, Tug yells even louder with spit coming out of his mouth.
It's the truth. That swamp beast is out there, and it'll kill any unfortunate soul that crosses its path.
Next panel, Sally angrily yells at Tug. Sit down and be quiet, or so help me God, I'll kick you out for good this time. Tug. Page 10, panel 1. Tug grimaces as he sits back down.
Mailbox. Stupid women. Always trying to tell me what to do.
Panel 2. Sally looks at Moby and the gang. About a few months ago, this town started getting plagued by encounters with a horrifying creature called the Swamp Beast. Next panel. A fisherman is on a boat in the swamp with his fishing line in the water. It is dark, and he only has his lantern for light. Caption, it terrorizes anyone who lives in the water and the homes around it. Panel 3, the fisherman turns around to look at something with wide, horrified eyes. Caption, Sally, no one has been able to find where the creature lives. It just happens out of nowhere like some evil spirit. Next panel, Moby has a shocked look on his face.
Wow. That's incredible, girl. Well, gang, it looks like we've stumbled into another mystery.
William rolls his eyes.
Just what we need. A mystery in some backwoods town.
Moby gives a wide grin at Sally and his chest puffed out in a manly manner.
We'll solve this mystery, Sally.
All right. So there we go. CG mysteries. Look, I like I said, I'm a fan of Mike Tyson mysteries, and this was certainly giving me a Mike Tyson feel. It had some humor value to me because of like as movies, people like that.
Right.
It's goofy and Tug and the mailbox never gets old. I don't know how much appeal it has to people outside the CG circle. So I guess I want to see what Danny. Although Danny knows who Moby is, so that's
yeah, but he's like the only one I know aside from you.
Yeah, Danny, John, and little movie prep. Why don't you guys go first?
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Let's
No,
let
you go ahead.
No, man, you're new. Talk. Go ahead, man.
New guy goes first. Got it.
New guy wants to go first. Let the new guy go first.
Yeah. I think it works fine without any CG context. I don't know about the specific characters because at the end of the day, you sort of know what it's going for, which is like this parody of Scooby-Doo,
right?
Going into town, solving mysteries. So if in terms of that, I think it's fine. And anything else, any inside joke or whatever is just frosting at that point, right? Frosting on the cake.
Yeah. It gets everyone where they're going pretty well. Introduces the characters. Introduces the environment, and sets up a very Scooby-Doo mystery. Like, there's a swamp beast. What's up with the swamp beast? And does anyone actually care about that guy's mailbox? Probably not, but we're probably going to accidentally investigate it anyways. So it's a story that's doing things.
John.
It's more fun if they don't investigate the mailbox. But anyway, it's a cute little story with some cute, colorful little characters, and it had some good physical humor. The cat flying into the windshield was funny. Eccentric weirdo in a bar.
Mm-hmm.
That's usually good for a laugh, even if we don't know what he's talking about half the time. I mean, it's even better if we don't know what he's talking about half the time. Who's this eccentric weirdo rambling about his mailbox?
Mm-hmm.
First he blames them for knocking it over, then he says the swamp beast knocks it over. It's like, so those kind of things. It's just there's some interesting little characters that are going there. So,
Skinny.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it for the most part. You got a good couple of chuckles out of me. The mailbox thing is pretty funny. Like John said, how he mentioned how he blamed it on Moby, and then quickly, it's that damn swamp beast. Like, I kind of get the impression that anybody who walks through that door is the one who destroyed his fucking mailbox. And I think that's a little hilarious because it just adds to the insanity of that character. I thought it had great pacing, man. Good job.
Larry.
Yeah, it's definitely got the Scooby-Doo parody going for it, which is great. So you don't really need to explain the characters so much in the context of CG, right? Because a lot of people know what Scooby-Doo is, and they can follow that type of story. So, so that's good. And everything else, like other people said there, is just sort of icing on the cake. So if you know the joke, it's funnier, but it's still funny because, why is this guy so obsessed with his mailbox? I think they should invest in the mailbox, though, and just find that it was held together with duct tape and fell over on its own, though. So that should be the ultimate conclusion to that mystery. But
I think that takes away from it, though. If you actually go there, because then it's no longer funny.
It's still funny.
It's funny to people on the inside. It's not funny on people on the outside.
Well, you could sort of make it funny if they go there and they just see, it's a broken mailbox. Who cares?
Yeah.
Like, that's the joke. Like they actually try to do it. They get there and they don't give a shit. And they just
and then of course he just sits there ranting at them like a crazy person, like he is, and that's the joke. But anyway.
Yeah, I found it enjoyable. I'll go ahead and go into constructives. If we're using Molby, then you need to use like all of Molby. That is like that's only like a tenth of Molby.
Yeah.
Like Molby.
You're gonna look like a Bendis book.
Yeah. You need to write Molby like Michael Bendis writes Superman.
That's
like,
right. Yeah.
And like first off, he always has to first declare that he's about to tell you something. He has to go, "I'm gonna say this, man."
Yeah.
Like every night has to start with.
Well,
and it's better if he goes, "Well, I'm gonna say this, man." Right? and like what I would prefer is like as like things are going, like other people are doing, like Molby is just like dialoguing because he tends to do these monologues and he'll do it in like the wall of text.
And there were no my bads in there, so you gotta have my bad. Yeah. Anyway.
So yeah.
Well, that was going to be kind of my comment.
Okay.
Was that you really got to dial it up more? Like you got to make some of the characters are eccentric and funny, and some of them are just kind of there. And I think you got to dial everybody up.
Oh, I don't know.
To 11, like Preston was saying with Molby, like just listen to the way they talk and that sort of a thing, and get their little ticks and quirks, and then just take that and then dial it up to 11. Kind of think of it like a roast almost. Like you just roast all the characters by the way you're caricaturing them.
Yeah.
And I think it'll really, really it'll make it just that these characters are just so funny and eccentric that everybody's just going to laugh at them. People that know them, will get it even more. And that's really what you want. Is you want the person that you're caricaturing and the people that know him, that person, to really just be like rolling on the floor laughing every time that character opens their mouth.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And the same thing with Preston and Bean.
Actually, I was going to say Bean seems pretty good actually, but she's sort of.
I don't know Bean that I don't know her at all. So, so I don't really know her character, but I just think that, just find those little things. And I'm guessing the cat is your self-insert, so you kind of know yourself. So just you kind of have to look at yourself from outside yourself in order to find those types of things. Like sometimes we tend to overanalyze ourselves and our own little quirks and things like that. And so I think even for that too, you got to kind of have to see, well, how do other people perceive me? because sometimes, we do those little things. Like, I don't know if Mulby knows that he's always saying, well, let me tell you this, if he knows he's doing that when he's doing it.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things, like, there might be things about you that you don't know, that you're missing. So, just kind of be aware of that. And I think if you can figure out those little things and dial it up and make all the characters just really over the top and eccentric, because really it's your main characters that you want your readers to connect to and that sort of a thing and fall in love with. So, because right now we just got, 10% Mulby and we got this crazy eccentric guy at a bar,
Yeah, it's just I guess you could describe these are kind of the abridged versions of the people I'm inserting, just because I don't exactly act like Williams. I don't act like Williams.
Well, I'm just saying, like, or actually when you're doing a self-insert, here's another thing you could do for a self-insert is just take a character trope of yourself, even if it's not entirely you, and just dial that up. Like, let's say you do really like whiskey. Actually, this is a good example. I also like whiskey. When I did that little video thing that I did with Preston's ex-wife, the character that I played was a drunk. I said no words. I grumbled and I drank a bottle of Jack Daniels. That was all I did the entire time. That was my character, which was a caricature of basically me, because I like whiskey and I do drink a lot. So, I just took, like, how can I take this one little thing and then just dial it up? So I think if that's something you want to, if you like whiskey, you just pick that and say, okay, I'm going to make him a drunk. And that's going to be like his life goal is to drink. And I want to become a human again so that I can drink, like something like that. I don't know. Just a thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think one thing you need to add is Preston has to threaten to sue somebody at least once in the script.
At least once, yeah.
Yeah, at least
once.
Yeah.
Or at least
inform
someone of their legal liability.
Exactly.
Yes. Perfect.
I might not sue them, but I will at least inform them of their legal liability.
Actually, that would be a good thing to say to everybody.
Yeah.
Like, they see the sign and make a comment about the legal liability of a sign in the middle of the road.
Yeah.
They get they get into town. And you make a comment.
Funnier to have him break the fourth wall and talk about the legal liability of the parody that he's in. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's a good thing none of these people are based on real people.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're legally distinct from those real people. So nothing that happens here would probably be liable. Yeah. Otherwise, that would be quite a lot of trouble, and we have legal liability.
Yeah, exactly.
Preston said.
Yeah, Preston said. Yes, I can absolutely see that. Yeah, that's
so there you go.
That's me.
Yeah. There you go. There's a little character thing that you could just take and then dial that up to 11, and you just, of course, you don't want to be a one-trick pony, but
yeah.
Can I say a general comment about this sort of subgenre of comics? I'm sure we are going to be reading quite a lot of I guess CG mock things on this stream.
Yeah.
Which is, I'm starting to suspect that, and this is sort of based on a few things, some of that Preston Knight stuff that Mulby brought up, and the other project with the transvestite.
The icebergs.
Yeah.
I genuinely am starting to suspect that CG is as fertile a subject for comedy as it is for good comics.
Right.
Which is really not very much.
Right. Yeah.
And the personality, the actual personalities, most of which I don't know, thankfully, are almost not ridiculous enough to be automatically good comedy. In the same way, say, Trump is sort of already a parody of himself and has been
exactly. Yes. Yeah.
Right? It doesn't take a lot there. And
the greatest parody of himself there's ever been in history.
Exactly. John's point is totally correct. Hyperbole is the way to go. But also, like, there does have to be a balance between, like, what's a good way to say this? The good guys and the bad guys.
Right. Yeah.
Which is, I mean, weirdly fraught in some degrees of Comicsgate, I'm sure. But, like, aside from the fact that everyone's being involved in the drama, there's no reason for those specific personalities to be there. Like, this project has, the gimmick of being Mike Tyson's Mysteries, Scooby-Doo. That works, right?
Right.
And Mulby says, I'm dragging all y'all bitches into, listen up, I'm gonna rep Jersey, drag all y'all bitches into solving this mystery. Like, that's the sort of thing that kind of works.
Yeah, I almost feel like, remaking Mike Tyson Mysteries, but making it Mulby Mysteries would be a better premise, honestly. Like,
He can,
and then he just keeps trying to write a comic about it, like, every 2 pages.
Yeah.
He can investigate whether or not lesbians are real. So.
I am so glad you did that reference. So glad.
You're so glad you did get it or didn't?
Didn't.
Oh yeah.
That was over my head.
Okay.
But like,
that's okay.
It's a cute Comicsgate project, but like, it's still cute enough to start that it could still work on its own, but it really has to.
Yeah.
The guy in the bar bitching about his mailbox is funny by itself.
Yeah.
Like, I very much agree with Preston on that. Like, I don't even care if that's a real person. That's drunk, stupid, idiot bullshit. So yeah, keep that.
Unfortunately, it's a real person, but
it doesn't matter if it's a real person. That's the best part. And in fact, I suspect many Comicsgate people are real people.
Yeah.
And I think I know about that mailbox thing. And what was hilarious was that they live in the middle of nowhere, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's like you have to do like quite a trek just to ruin someone's mailbox.
Yeah.
So just like these characters making that trek, just to find the mailbox there. And it's like, guys, come on, like that'd be hilarious. I think what also helps is like if you sort of have the tropes of what's in this type of material, and then you insert the personalities of who you're parroting into that. So like, for example, maybe you could have someone that's like, the minute they see that beware like swamp monster, it's like, oh my god, yes, there's definitely a swamp monster, we're going to solve it, we're going to do it, like very gung-ho about it. And then you could sort of insert the way the personality of these CGers in that sort of trope, if that makes sense.
Is it bad that right now I'm just imagining like the creature from the Black Lagoon on the side of a highway, hitching, like with his thumb out, hitching a ride, just so he can like go out of his way to break a mailbox?
There you go.
I think he's got a baseball bat in hand and everything.
That's
Just
right.
ready to go.
Baseball bat hands. There we go.
All right. Palace of the Golden Princess time?
All right.
Sure.
All right, cool. All right, here we go. I haven't read this through, so this is gonna be kind of rough. We're gonna need a Thora. Who wants to be Thora?
We're gonna need Preston to tell us where we are in the story.
Oh, okay. Well, you were here last time.
Yeah.
But
I mean, what about the other like 8 people on the stream? And
they were here for
you
most of our
were
last
open
time
bracket
too.
S close bracket.
Look, Thora's down on her luck. She's been bested by Edmund in the tournament, and she is now in the stables with Gretchen, her squire.
Right.
There you go.
All right.
So we're gonna need a
I'll
Thora
narrate.
and a
I think I haven't done that for a while.
Yeah, I can narrate. All right, I'll be Edmund, and then we're gonna need a Thora and a Gretchen. Larry, you're Thora.
Okay.
John, you're Gretchen.
There we go. We're all set.
All right.
And then
Page 9, panel 1, series of panels. Thora towers over Gretchen as she speaks the incantation to deactivate the magic.
La Woos.
Panel 2, series. Shrink lines and ghost images of a larger form surround Thora as she shrinks to 150 centimeters and 58 kilograms, which still proves shorter than the nearby Gretchen.
Let's just say I wouldn't want to cross my patrol path.
As you wish, my lady. I just hope you don't regret foregoing the feast. It's not often that our court is joined with that of the nearby cities.
After how vicious those harpies were to poor Sarah when she lost to Edmund last time?
Panel 3. Gretchen looks in sympathy at her fallen hero as Thora prepares to out.
Keep your chin up. You only lost to one opponent, and you defeated many. You have much to be proud of.
Panel 4. Thora and Gretchen share an embrace.
Thank you, Gretchen. You've really been more than a squire. I consider you my friend.
I hope to always remain in your good graces, my lady.
Panel 5. With sympathy, Gretchen watches from the stable as her distant master walks into the city, decked out in her governess armor, carrying a sword in a scabbard,
And should be answering, yeah.
and carrying a sword in a scabbard off of her hip.
Right.
Armor can.
Page 10.
You
Panel
actually
1.
don't need that and.
Probably not.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Foreground. Thora walks aside Iskander, a male young man of fair elven features. So a young male elf? Young
Yeah.
elfish? Is he an elf?
Yes.
Or a man.
Okay.
Or
Is he a human or an elf?
I think Preston was hitting the weed pretty hard when he wrote that.
Yeah, probably.
Man,
Alright,
Preston, you're
a
such a
young
fiend.
elf.
A male young man
All right.
of fair
Hey,
elven.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
A male young elf with fair features, or
Yeah. A fair
young
featured
male
young
elf.
male elf.
And if this is a D&D
Fair
type thing, like just say if he's an elf or a human.
Okay.
Her left hand grips his right arm firmly as her stern demeanor broadcasts to all onlookers that they must respect her authority. Background. Another governess in her late teens, escorts a human male in his 40s home down a well-lit fantasy town street where two other human females walk unescorted.
I hear you did well, Governess Thora.
I can think of nothing more worthless than your second-hand approval.
Panel 2. Foreground. Thora shoves Iskander forward as she releases her grip on his right arm. Background. The open entrance to a tavern beckons.
I hereby release you to the care of the tavern of the wealthy wench.
Thank you, Governess.
Panel 3. Thora points the index finger of her gloved right hand at him as she gives her admonishment, which he nervously accepts.
If I catch you leaving this establishment without escort after curfew again, you will be severely punished.
Yes, Governess.
Panel 4. Frowning, Thora watches Iskander walk through the entrance. Music notes.
And then there will be. There we go.
Panel 5. Wistful Thora wistfully listens to the music.
Oh, yeah.
Music
yeah,
notes.
I doubled up on that.
A golden princess.
There we go.
Panel 6. Point of view. A patron looking out the tavern entrance sees Thora, lit by the light of the tavern, looking into the light for a source of hope. Music notes.
Down.
Page 11. Panel 1. Thora's point of view from the entrance. The foreground, 4 figures representing the traditional D&D party sit at a round table. Dunan, a Tolkien-esque dwarf, brushes aside his long red beard as he raises a flagon of ale to his lips. Nimby, the adorable hobbit thief, smokes tobacco from a clay pipe and protests the new building developing out of his backyard.
Exactly, yes.
Helena, an attractive human frost witch with jet black hair, dressed in wizard robes, sips white wine from a glass made entirely of ice. Madridorf, an elven male with jet black skin, white hair, pointed ears, and arched eyebrows, huddles his body tightly around the holy symbol he holds in his hand as he prays. That symbol, the Christian crescent, combined the icon of a cross with a crescent moon. In the background, Johnny, a man clad in black, plays a lute and sings to the amusement of Iskander and 8 other fantasy patrons. Music notes.
When Viviax comes around.
There we go. Next page. Or next panel.
Panel 2. Dunan nudges Madridorf as his gaze locked on Thora, who stands as a wallflower just inside the entrance.
We need a Dunan. Who wants to be Dunan?
Dunan was the dwarf, right?
Yeah. These characters only exist for one page, so just
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Madorf, One of them lady constables just strolled in. You'd think she's looking for a good time.
Larry, take Magidor.
I have no intention of finding out.
Well, I will.
Panel 3. Tipsy and still seated, Dunan makes a grand gesture of acceptance to the standing Thora, who shows no appreciation. Nimby interposes her small body between the two hulking figures in a futile display.
Welcome, governess. Come in and share in some good cheer, have you?
Skinny's a NIMBY, so.
Okay. Pay no attention to Danon. He's a bit drunk. We're travelers staying the night and we'll be well on our way by the morrow.
Panel 4. Foreground. Thora scrutinizes Nimby like an unfamiliar insect. Background. An annoyed Dunan sits with apprehensive Madridorf and Helena, who each rest a restraining hand on him.
And what parts do you intend to explore in the coming days?
Off towards the wonderful town of Thoughthold, and the lands beyond.
Very well. Enjoy your stay in Daigen.
Is it bad that I just thought of a joke about lady parts?
No, it was
that's
intentional.
That's entirely intentional. That's entirely.
I'm sorry, / you're welcome.
Yeah.
Panel 5. In the Dunan scoffs, but holds his tongue as he watches. The governess exit the tavern in the background?
Yeah.
And inform your dwarf that any misogynistic microaggressions towards a governess are punishable by public flogging.
Love that line.
Yeah.
Page 12, panel 1.
What if the dwarf likes the public flogging?
Hey, yeah. That's between him and
He's got to
whoever's
commit a
flogging him.
microaggression. Yeah.
What happens if I gotta flog a bunch of mollies?
All he's got to do is tell someone they look better if they smile more, right?
Yeah.
The summer sun shines brightly on the tilt yard. Gretchen and Smithy each stand next to the suits of armor their masters will soon be donning. Thora's black armor sits on the stand next to Gretchen, bearing a ruby above the center of the breastbone. Nestor's silver armor lacks such a ruby, the ruby.
Yeah.
In the foreground, Thora stands with her hands.
Yeah.
Cool.
Looks good, Gretchen.
Panel 2. Stands with her hands.
I mean, that would be an interesting scene, but hey.
Right?
Yeah. She's just standing with her hands,
Yeah.
Like with her hands in someone else's hands, so she have 3 hands. It's so confusing. I want to know all the
on
answers.
her hands.
It would make a really good butt shot.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
gonna throw that out.
Yeah, it would.
There you go.
Yeah.
Handstand.
Yeah, handstand.
What? Panel 2. Thora holds her arms as Gretchen drapes the chainmail over her form.
Very good, ma'am. Ready for the armor to activate?
Oh yeah.
Panel 3. Medium shot on Thora, who smiles in anticipation, yet the ruby on her chest fails to glow.
It will be good to train again, Lavas.
Now, when it would be interesting for the ruby to fail to glow, it's not in the direction. I guess it's still in the direction because it's not glowing. Panel 4. Thora looks down at the ruby on her chest, which continues to fail to glow, with faint apprehension.
Have the days away dulled my link to the armor?
Panel 5. Thora and Gretchen exchange glances.
Lavas, damn it.
Do not worry, ma'am. I shall fetch the armor straight away.
Panel 6. Wearing cloth armor, Nestor approaches the pair.
Don't bother. The magic seems to not be working anywhere.
Ooh. Plot twist.
Page 13, panel 1, large panel. Queen Erika sits on her throne looking down at Thora, quite pleased with himself. Edmund sits in a chair off to the side along with Philip, the court jester, and an annoyed Samantha dressed in clothes. Vestments just means clothes.
Well, she's a high priest. Isn't that,
Oh, okay. Dressed in priestly vestments.
right, priest.
There you go.
The tapestry on the wall to the left behind Arika shows a crazy version of the queen, pouring blood out of a ruby-encrusted golden chalice to form a pentagram on the ground of a black, barren field as a spectral red demoness looks on in appreciation. The banner bearing the Alluvian symbol of state sits directly above the thorn.
We need a Samantha. Skinny, you want to be Samantha? There we go.
Is this Viviax or Vivax?
Viviac. It's
Okay.
Vivian,
I just wanted to
Sorry.
check.
Yeah.
Viviax, our profane and vulgar goddess, lost her material links this week, and with it a spiritual channel for her charms. I was able to confer with her in prayer. An adventuring party penetrated the ruins, found the princess's heart.
Oh, that's a stately voice there.
Yeah.
It is got the most gravitas, and I love it.
Yeah.
All right, Savage, do you want to be... Oh, hey, Joanne. Savage, why don't you be Aurica?
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Do you have any idea that might have how that might have happened?
High Priestess Samantha, no doubt, has a superior understanding, but I am but a governess. Sorry.
Well, a governess who encountered an adventuring party a few days ago, correct?
Yes, but they said they were headed to Thoughthold.
They crept right under your nose.
And you didn't think to tell me?
My queen, parties go to Thoughthold all the time. The ruins were considered impregnable, and it would be no reason to. I would have no reason to.
You let them go, and now our entire society will collapse in a matter of days as the men hear of our powerlessness.
Did they call the locksmith?
Yeah.
To get it to Thoughthold?
There you go.
Call the locksmith.
All they had to do was
go for it, man.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say all they had to do was donate to their OnlyFans. That's all.
Yeah.
And while we're here, Preston, can I say that your use of the word "penetrated" in panel 1 was totally apropos and also hilarious.
Impregnable is also pretty funny.
Yeah. They have broken the chastity of our cave of wonders.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, if you're gonna do it, like lead in, right?
Yeah.
Panel 3. Samantha glares at Edmund, who confidently stands before the royal court. Arika's anxiety builds as he watches them argue.
Who's that? I'll be Edmund. Yeah. Queens have sat in rulership over men. Losing your charm magic just requires you to treat the situation with subtlety instead of force.
Force is the only language the primitive male mind can understand. There were already rumors of rebellion and invasion. We are completely defenseless without Thora and the rest of the governess order. And your champion calls for subtlety?
High Priestess Orkova, rest assured that I stand ready to spill blood in defense of the queendom. But the future of any land in times of turmoil always rests in its leader's cunning.
Panel 4, medium shot. Arika exerts her authority, seated on her throne.
We should arrange for a distraction. Create stories of an orc tribe sleeping out of cyclopean swamps. That should buy us a few days for us to restore our link to our dark goddess of lust and control. What will be required to make that happen, Samantha?
I just gotta say, as soon as we mentioned orcs, Big Steve shows up.
There we go.
I mean, yeah.
There you go. And before I forget, Preston, a word you want to sneak in there if you can is phallogocentrism, PHA.
Okay.
It's from Judith Butler, and it is totally second wave feminism 101.
Okay, I'll look that up.
Yeah. What does it mean?
It sounds like cock-centered.
Thinking in terms of the male mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So basically, it's like mansplaining.
Yeah.
No. So it's like understanding the world through a male point of view. So that this has been the way history and whatnot have done things for so long is the argument. Is thinking from the male point of view first.
Yeah.
Anyways, page 14, panel 1. Samantha relays the bad news. We're going to get back to this instead of literary theory. I'm so sorry, guys.
We would need to consecrate another heart-sized ruby. That would require a 2-day ritual, a sacrifice of 23 male children, and the blood of an angel, which I do not have.
Sorry.
I love that that's the sticking point. Panel 2. Sorry about the running commentary. I'm normally not the star of the narrator. Arika, Samantha, and Edmund look to Thora as she takes command.
Then perhaps, Sir Edmund, I should venture into the Forsaken Woods to bargain with the summoner, while the rest of our forces try to locate the adventuring party and recover the heart of the princess.
Oh God, I just want to say they should shave the Forsaken Woods.
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm so done. I'm sorry. It's not even John's story.
Oh, man.
It's because Preston wrote this so dense. Panel 3, Arika nods in assent.
Yes, that's just the kind of decisive action we need. Nestor will lead our most loyal men to apprehend what we claim as an orc raiding party, while Thor and Edmund secure the angel's blood from the summoner. You will need a form of payment. Take your squire Gretchen with you and offer her to him as his personal slave.
Ooh, all right. Why, Gretchen? She shows great promise. She'll make a great governess someday.
Panel 5, full shot. Arika sits in judgment on her throne.
Skinny.
Sorry, my bad. May the loss of someone close to you prompt you to give more attention to the next run-in you have with the adventuring party. I have spoken. Now carry on. Carry out my orders.
I have spoken.
Page 15. Seated atop her horse and adorned in her black leather governess armor, Thora leads Edmund and Gretchen, also on horseback, along the road out of town under the bright light of the noonday sun.
Leave immediately.
Panel 2. The mounted trio continue along a shaded path into the woods.
Go into the Forsaken Woods.
Panel 3. The trio appear so tired as to be in danger of falling off their horses as they continue along path. Above them, the trees obscure the full moon.
Ride through the night, stop for nothing, and no one.
We have to stop.
Panel 4. Seated side by side on their horses, Thora and Edmund argue.
You heard the orders of our queen.
The duties of a knight call for wisdom at times such as these. If we do as she orders and forego sleep, what chance do an exhausted, delirious party have of making it back to the castle with our precious cargo intact?
I will not disobey her.
Panel 5. Edmund dismounts as Thora and Gretchen look on in shock.
Well, I'm stopping. If you think you two women can withstand the dangers posed by the summoner in this forest, feel free to proceed without me.
Panel 6. Thora issues commands from horseback, and Edmund begins to unsaddle his horse.
I command you to carry out the wishes of our queen, Akira.
I choose to accept the consequences of my nonfeasance.
Oh, he's after the spanking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he needs to flog, yeah.
Page 16, panel 1. Still on horseback, Thora looks to an exhausted Gretchen who faintly shrugs, unsure of what to do. Partially out of frame, Edmund removes the saddle from his horse. Panel 2. Thora screams in impotent rage.
Get back on your horse.
Panel 3. Edmund lies on the ground, using the horse's saddle for a pillow, the horse's blanket draped on top of him. His eyes are closed, and he seems asleep.
I order it.
Panel 4. Enraged, Thora dismounts.
Damn you.
Panel 5. She stands over Edmund, who pretends to be asleep.
I command you to return to your duty this instant.
Panel 6. Thora kicks Edmund in the gut.
Ah.
Panel 7. Inset panel. Thora's booted foot slides under the blanket and collides with Edmund's steel breastplate. Thunk. Page 17, panel 1. Frozen in a moment's uncertainty, Thor and Edmund contemplate what they intend to do to each other.
Yeah, each other. There we go.
Panel 2. Thora grabs for her sword as Edmund grabs her around the feet with both hands, tripping her.
Ha!
Gretchen.
Panel 3. On the flat of her back, Thora draws her sword from its sheath with her right hand. Showing! Panel 4. Lying on top of her, Edmund grabs to take Thora's sword away with both of his hands. Panel 5. Edmund rips the sword out of Thora's hand as he stands to challenge the approaching Gretchen, who brandishes a dagger.
All right, Thora, how shall we play this?
Panel 6. Thora relents.
It appears we have little choice but to relent to your wishes. But I do intend to bring this to the Queen's attention.
Page 18. Panel 1. Edmund holds the sword at Thora's throat.
Then why don't I kill you right now and proceed to sell Gretchen the life of slavery the Queen has in mind for her?
Panel 2. Gretchen stands in shock as she looks at Edmund and Thora, whose face betrays her shame.
What?
Oh, yes, my dear. Your life will serve as payment for the magical reagent we need, so you won't be coming back. And that means if I elect to murder the governess here, I can make up any damn story I please now, can I?
Panel 2. Sword as her throat.
Yeah.
Thora surrenders.
Unless you give me a damn compelling reason why I should keep you alive.
Yes, I can see the wisdom of your words now. We should be united on this mission, and the sleep will do us good.
Panel 3. Edmund curls up again.
Oi. You're Edmund.
Oh, sorry.
Panel 3. Edmund curls up again, maintaining his hold on Thora's sword.
Fantastic. I'm glad I could set your mind right. Don't forget, if you should kill me in my sleep, you'll be 2 women alone in a foreboding wood surrounded by enemies with a mission from a homicidal queen.
Please let them kill him in his sleep. Panel 4. Gretchen and Thora look to each other.
Am I really to live out the rest of my life as a hermit slave?
Panel 5. Thora takes a hold of her young charge and does her best to reassure her.
It would seem, but as soon as our magic has returned, I will come to rescue you.
All right.
Right.
That was interesting.
John, why don't you start us off?
Yeah.
I like the changes that you did. I think they're good. I think that's it. Really helps clarify the world and the stakes, and increases the investment in that I have in the story. I don't know if I'm. I'll say it's interesting, and I don't know if it's a good interesting or bad interesting, but it's interesting how the second they lose power, like everything is starting to fall apart. Like, like all of a sudden Edmund, Thor is being overpowered by somebody that would normally not even think twice, but it's like, oh, magic's gone, and now it's like, that can be truly terrifying, I'm sure, because if they grew up in this society where they were always in control and now they're not, I think it's it plays rather interesting, and as I said, there's some socio-political commentary that can be read into it, which I'm sure you're going for. So that kind of makes it interesting to see how it all plays out. But, and I kind of feel bad for Gretchen, and I'm kind of invested in her story too, and I'm hoping that she doesn't become a hermit slave. So,
cool.
Yeah, good on all those fronts.
Larry.
Yeah. No, it's a pretty interesting story. You definitely get some decent world building in there, and it's an interesting society. Not not in the within the norm of the fantasy genre. You don't usually see the female-controlled society, so that's an interesting take. Let's see. Pacing was really good. Definitely invested in to see where the characters go. I think some of the characters come off kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for? They kind of come off as antagonists in a way, like some of your main characters, but because they're pushing people down the lower classes and whatnot. So I'm sure that'll change eventually, but you got to start someplace, right? But yeah.
Skinny.
I really enjoyed it. It's really great contrast from Larry's story. Honestly, like we started with very little dialogue, and then bam, like you're just like dumping shit, man. And I mean in a good way. I like everything going on. I really, honestly, don't have any complaints. I enjoyed the hell out of it. Even the fact that you introduced like 6 characters just for one page and then just fucked off with them. I don't even mind that because it actually flowed well and it kind of made sense once you explained, these people are going to go do this thing. Yeah.
I almost see like spin-off with them.
Mm-hmm.
Like you could totally just do a whole different thing with these characters in it. They're so well fleshed out, it seems.
Nice.
Even in the short interaction that they have in the bar.
Savage?
Yeah, I like it too, especially as someone who's, at least before all this COVID stuff, was really into D&D and stuff. So I get D&D vibes from this, so that's always pretty fun. And yeah, I like the bit of, kind of modern humor you put into it, the whole microaggressions and like misogyny and stuff. That's a pretty interesting use of flavor for the humor in this type of story rather than going for what you call generic medieval style humor,
Awesome. All right, Danny, what do you think?
I've got things, but does Perp have things? Is Perp still here?
Perp.
Yes. I'm gonna echo more or less everyone's else's sentiments. I really enjoyed the lore building. Is this a first issue, or is this is this in the middle?
Issue 1.
Okay, so yeah, awesome already. Like the world building is great. I find the idea of this female kingdom and their customs very fascinating. And if I had any critiques, is I would want more of that. I want a weirder customs that these men have to deal with in a way, just to set up when it all goes away. That's pretty much it for now.
Yeah.
As everyone else, the world building was good, and I did like how you leaned into the femininity there, like my joke about shaving the forbidden forest. But I mean, that place also has a summoner who produces monsters, so like, come on.
There you go.
I mean, come on, right? So that was good.
Yeah.
If that was original, that's extra good, because I know that you're getting inspiration from some other works.
Mm-hmm.
The female society works, and they approach their problems in a way that doesn't talk like about specific men.
Mm-hmm.
So you pass the Bechdel test there, and that's really important, right? It's not like, oh, okay, well, now we're powerless without men. It's like, no, we've still got stuff we can do. Let's go do stuff. So that was really good. The crisis wasn't immediate. The crisis is really localized to the characters that we have, and it's localized to a conflict that you've already established with that knight and Thora and Gretchen. So that was cool. Likewise, Thora, Gretchen, Edmund, they follow the character traits that you've already established. Like, I wasn't too surprised that any of them did what they did, how they did it, aside from as a constructive, like Thora gave up really quick and all that stuff at the end. I mean, I'm sure there's more coming, but that seemed like, oh, well, we've got no magic, we give up a little bit fast.
Mm-hmm.
Like, seriously, I would kill him in his sleep, or failing that, I'd sell him into slavery for the angel blood, and then send Gretchen off to her own Moses character in some other side story, and maybe that's the real story, right? That was sort of.
Well, I mean,
there are anyway.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you brought up problems, and the way you
Right.
solve them is going to be interesting. So I'm invested. This is a successful issue 1. It is slightly curious that the princess gem of virginity is so far away and yet so integral to their culture and the functioning of their society. That seems like the sort of thing that one might want to protect better.
It does. I mean,
but I'm sure
that's based off some of the original source material, and I'm like, I may need to change that.
And maybe women don't want to protect their princess gem as well as men think they do.
That's a good line. I should put that. We should have protected our.
That's what the men would expect.
Yeah.
Or like whatever.
Could have had capacity for us.
Yeah. But okay, cool. So
so yeah, it was good. Hopefully seeing where it goes. Definitely we're at a point where there should be some sort of turnabout that leads us to a big cliffhanger. So I'm really curious to see where that goes, because I think if you can stick the landing, this works.
Awesome. Constructives. Anybody?
Yeah, I didn't really have any. I thought you kind of addressed a lot of the issues that we found in the last few times you brought it, pretty well.
There was that one page that was hella wordy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will just to reiterate what Danny said earlier, though. I mean, if I had to make any nitpicks, it is with the Thora and Edmund confrontation towards the end, where it ends very abruptly. She's just like so quick to give up.
Well, he took her sword away.
Oh yeah, but I don't know.
What's the size differential between those two?
Well, without her magic, I mean, he's like 220 pounds, and she's like, like 140. So.
And how much taller is he? Because I know she's shorter than Gretchen based on your description.
Right. So I will say he's like 6'1".
Oh wait, is Thora a teenager?
No.
Okay, just really short.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I can make her a little bigger.
Yeah.
So I mean, we have the size differential of a character who's probably 100 pounds lighter and a foot shorter.
Right.
So yeah, I could totally see she's never been without her power.
Right.
And without
she has no idea how to fight anymore.
Right.
That makes sense.
I mean, aside from trampling with her very convenient warhorse.
There you go. Well, I mean, yes, and as I close it, those two could arrange to just kill Edmund in his sleep, but then they will be, and so the world I'm introducing is that everyone in this society is kind of evil.
Yeah,
but
I kind of get that.
And so they're starting to plot for how they want to position themselves to gain the most clout and expend the lives of their rivals.
It might be worth leaning into the fact that their society does seem to be so fragile and based on magic, like in the dialogue and not just in the art direction.
Okay.
Because we see that with the joust at the beginning, and we see that in the middle with the failure of the magic to operate. She's not good enough. There's a failure to launch. Whatever, right? But maybe like when you're talking about the social system and stuff like around that bit where they're walking down the street, right? It's like, oh, the great magic of blah 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 keeps us here, and it's only due to her thing that we're not sacrificing you, and instead it's spanking in the public square, or like whatever, right? Like mentioning the magic as being so integral to their society a little bit more early on. Is going to make the loss of that magic come off as being more substantial of a plot point and a little bit less of a, oh, okay.
Well, I would just remind that we start page 1 and 2 is the big ritual to rejuvenate and recognize Queen Arica, and Samantha is talking about the great bargain and Viviax and the magic and how well the queen has done.
Yeah, so then like so
Yeah,
say
I was-
it
I
and
was
remind
actually-
them and then pay it off.
Okay.
We're still
I
missing that
actually
reminder.
disagree with Danny on that.
Okay.
I think the way we see how the way it opens, we see the magic and we see the benefits of it. Then when it stops working, we get our exposition dump about the why. We know what's going on. We know how it happens, and all of that. And even in those pages between Thora and Edmund, we're starting to see the whole society fall apart. So I think we're getting all of that.
Okay.
I think we have it all in there. I don't think they need more exposition to explain, oh, we've got magic and that's why women are more powerful than men, because once it's gone, we already get that. And then I think it becomes redundant.
Hmm.
And I like the mystery in the beginning. Like we kind of have to figure it all out. And then once it's gone, then we figure out, then it's explained. Oh, this is what we got to do.
That's a good point too. That could just be like a reminder for issue 2 thing. Oh, without their magic, we've got to go do this quest. Yeah. Okay. John, you convinced me.
Yeah, I said I think it kind of works, and it is starting to fall apart. And we ended on what page? What page did we end on? 19?
17-ish? Yeah.
18, yeah.
So we still have another 5 or 6 pages to just watch this entire world continue to fall apart. So, which is where I imagine that it'll be going. To our issue 1 cliffhanger is going to be somewhere around unless it's going to be Gretchen. I don't know, but I can kind of see where it's going and how it's falling apart. So that was just my kind of thing.
All right, cool. Maybe it's a trick she gave up. Could be. Could be. All right. So Skinny. We got some updated Claude pages. I see.
Yeah.
Okay. What pages do you want to go over?
You could just do 19 through 24. 5 pages.
Fairly short. 5 pages.
Very short.
Maybe that's right. That's right. See, women got power all kinds of ways.
Yes.
Yeah.
They got that vagina power.
I hear they're made of magic.
They are made of magic. Exactly.
All about that booty.
Yeah. All right, page 18. Who's going to narrate? Am I sharing? Yeah, I'm sharing. All right. 18. Who's narrating?
Preston, you can narrate this time.
Awesome.
I'm going to give Larry a break.
Okay. All
and
right.
then John and Danny, you guys, John, you're Claude, of course, and Danny is Wells.
All right, page 18, panel 1. Claude bangs on his cell door, pleading for help yet again.
Somebody help me. I don't know who or where I am.
Panel 2, disappointedly, Wells swings open the cell door, washing Claude in a fluorescent light.
Come with me, Claude. I'll fill you in.
I have so many questions. Who am I?
Panel 3, cut to Claude sitting in the same chair. Wells, meanwhile, walks back towards his decanter to pour them both a drink. Claude moves his gaze to the table, full of surgical instruments next to him. A razor-sharp scalpel stands out.
I know it's difficult, but let's have a drink first to settle our nerves. I'll gladly answer all of your questions afterwards, Claude.
A drink does sound nice right about now. May help me with this splitting headache.
Panel 4, Wells hands Claude's the same bourbon with a crazy straw.
Just drink up. I'll get rid of that headache for you.
Panel 5, suddenly Claude smashes his glass upside Wells' face. Bourbon, glass, and blood spray everywhere from the impact.
You're not killing me, you crazy son of a bitch.
Page 19, panel 1. Wells brings his hand up to the blooded side of his face. His other hand clenched in a fist, pure rage throws over his face.
You remembered?
Course I did, you salty cunt.
Panel 2. Wells throws a punch at Claude, connecting with the right side of his face. Claude stammers backwards towards the clear he was seated in, or towards the chair he was seated in.
You piece of shit.
Panel
3. Claude falls backward over the chair as Wells pounces on him.
How long have you remembered, Claude? How long?
Panel 4. Wells sits atop Claude, bearing down on Claude with his already bloody knuckles.
I don't know, Wellesley boy. Maybe a day, maybe 9 months. Who knows?
Page 20, panel 1. From Wells' POV, we see Claude's bloodied face is starting to swell already.
What if I had known this whole time and just wanted to screw with you? How would that make you feel?
Panel 2. From Wells' point of view, his fist connects from the side of Claude's face. Blood spurts out of Claude's mouth from the blow.
Oh, you'll tell me. One way or another, you'll tell me.
Page 3. From Claude's point of view, we see Wells' closed, blooded fist coming down to hit Claude again.
As if anything could be worse for me right now. Do whatever you want, Wells. I'm already dead.
Awful ballsy there, Claude. Might be time for the old snip snip. I just did a hand motion for that. I don't know why.
Close shot of both fighting from the side. Wells connects another punch, sending 3 of Claude's teeth flying.
What's wrong, Claude? I'll bark and no bite?
Page 21. Panel 1. Claude kisses Wells in the crotch, causing Wells to lose the wind in his lungs.
He kisses Wells in the crotch?
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry. Knees,
That's some
sorry.
stage direction.
That was, yeah. Knees,
Yeah.
Whatever.
I mean,
No
it's told with,
It
I got
goes with the
plenty of bite.
line.
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I got plenty of bite.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he had a bite. I was expecting a little. All right,
Oh man.
whatever.
Yeah.
Page 2.
It's not my script. It's
all right.
Skinny's.
I like how not my script with the sexy stuff is like the first thing you have to say. For
Hashtag
some
not my-
reason,
Hashtag
this is
not all
Wells' crotch
script.
is what made John uncomfortable there.
Claude starts to get back to his feet. Wells, meanwhile, has fallen to his side while gripping his crotch and writhing in pain.
And I'm starving for revenge.
Panel 3. Claude rears back his right foot, prepping to kick Wells while he's down.
Not so fun when you're helpless, is it?
Panel 4. Close shot of Wells' hand catching Claude's ankle and yanking him back to the ground.
I'm not really in the mood to play footsie.
Panel 5. Wells throws a punch as Claude is in the process of getting back up.
Let's play bloody knuckles instead.
Page 6. Claude dodges the punch and readies the scalpel he nicked from before.
Stay the fuck down.
22. Panel 1. Claude suddenly slashes upward at Wells, catching his side with the blade. It tears through Wells' clothes, but only leaves a scratch on his now exposed skin.
Arg.
You like that?
Page 2. Wells brings his hand to the slash while backing away from Claude. His other hand is outstretched before him to defend himself from further blows. Claude, meanwhile, prepares to strike as Wells again with a horizontal slice.
You slimy bastard. You ruined my shirt.
Page 3. Claude slices at the base of Wells' fingers horizontally, cutting into them. No, Siri, I didn't call you. Cutting into them to the bone. The fingers that are out fall limp. Wells screams in pain.
Ah.
Page 4. Shot from Wells' point of view. His fingers lay limp and bloodied. He sees Claude's blade coming in to strike him in the face vertically. Madness in Claude's eyes, punctuated by his massive lipless grin. I love all those. I love that action line. It felt good.
What was that you said about equivalent exchange? One has to sacrifice a sense.
Panel 5. Close shot on the scalpel blade cutting deep into Wells's forehead, heading straight for his right eye.
You took my nose, so I'll take your eyes.
Page 6. Close shot of the scalpel blade coming just on the edge of Wells' eyeball. Blood gushes down from the wound above.
Ah.
Page 23, panel 1. Close shot of the scalpel, now towards the bottom of the eye, but still on the surface. The eyeball cracks like glass. Wells has been blind this entire time.
You're blind?
Wells falls to his knees, his hands going to the fresh wound on his face. Claus backs up towards the door behind him.
I'm going to kill you for that.
Page 3. Claude, still backing away, drops the scalpel. A terrified look covers his face.
Stay back. Just stay away from me.
Page 4. Claude dashes out of the door and down the hallway towards the sign pointing towards an emergency exit that lies off panel somewhere.
What's the matter, Claude? Don't like what you see?
Page 24, splash page. Page is split down the middle vertically between two images. On the right, we see Claude busting out of the emergency exit into a massive rainstorm, illuminated by a strike of lightning. He darts off towards the woods in the distance. In the other image, on the left side of Wells' face, slimy blood-soaked tree roots are protruding from the gash across his forehead and left eye socket. The door Claude is bursting out of should be in line with the side of Wells' headshot to appear as Claude is breaking out of the mind of Wells.
You can run, Claude, but I'm the one person who can't forget you. I will find you. I will drag you to the order myself.
All right. So those are the 5 pages that show us the end of, what is that, issue 1? That one?
Yeah.
Kenny? There we go. All right. So I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, it's getting good. We've spent our entire issue with just these two characters who hate each other, and we've kind of gotten a sense of their powers and the depths of their depravity.
Yeah.
Larry.
Yeah, he's definitely got the action flowing there now. So, and I knew about the twist ending, but I like the fact that the other guy's blind, and that's why Claude's powers never worked on him and whatnot. So, but it also makes it really interesting. Like, how did he see? Because he was doing like complex surgery and whatnot. So that's a mystery best left for issue 2, I guess.
It's magic. I don't have to explain it.
Exactly. Magic. Yeah.
Little movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know anything about anything outside of those 5 pages, and I honestly loved it. I think the action was well described. It's the way you play with the character dynamics of who's in power was great, and it was fun to see who you think has the upper hand. No, it's the other guy that actually has the upper hand. And then finally, like the striking creepy imagery of that dude with like the bark coming out of his eyes, and his wounds. It's a lot of really good stuff there, honestly.
Danny.
That was satisfying as fuck. I wasn't aware of the twist. That was a hella good twist. Skinny, I know you mentioned to me the other week that you edited some of the dialogue during that scene, so I'm pretty sure we read through the new version of that. Is that right?
Yeah, because
so I really like how Wells is not an insane, he's an insane asshole, but he doesn't change his character as soon as he gets punched in the face, which makes it work even better from his protagonist. Like, if it wasn't for this particularly weird situation and the strange turnabout that Claude was able to implement, it's very likely Claude wouldn't have been able to escape or win in any way. So it really pays off the crushing existential horror of losing your mind and your memory constantly that you established so well before. That final image is a good one. So yeah, I think this is a really good conclusion. It doesn't even need to have an issue 2. It's like, and now one of them is being a madman over here, the other one's being a madman over there, and the world is just worse for it. That's what happens when crazy people do their shit. It's a good horror project.
Yeah, I was going to ask that actually, if you would consider this horror, because you definitely have some great imagery, and if you weren't considering it that, I would, just to go all in even more, for sure.
Yeah, so horrific that I even made John Lamont blush.
There you go. No easy feat.
No.
I know, and John's a sex pervert.
Exactly.
Well, yeah, I'm a sex pervert. I'm not a gore pervert.
There you go.
Well, I don't know.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Vagina gun.
Vagina gun.
Yo,
But that was more
I told my
sexual than it
girlfriend
was
about the vagina
violent.
gun, and she was fucking horrified.
Whatever.
All right, constructives. Do we have any constructives?
Oh, I will say I did like the twist.
Okay.
I did not see it coming, and I did like the twist, and I thought it ended I liked the way you designed the last page. I thought that was pretty cool. Really good visual there. Kind of had almost a Shawshank vibe to it, but I don't know if that was intentional or unintentional. But
so I remember way back when we read the first few pages of this that you had those two orderlies that are just there for the first couple, like for the first few beats. And now knowing that it ends like this, I know that you mentioned, this whole facility and there's a whole lot going on. But I actually feel like they take away from that unique isolation of the relationship between Claude and Wells. Just they're very present at the beginning and their absence at the end. And I'm starting to doubt if they're particularly necessary, although Claude is able to resist at the beginning, so I suppose they are. There's Neil Gaiman, I think, talks about this very British kind of relationship of two people who are just sort of stuck with each other and kind of hate each other but can't really escape each other. And this is the sort of thing you get in stuff like to a degree even in Good Omens, right? And that's the kind of sort of this long running established relationship that you do so well, like very nearly doesn't require anyone else even to establish it, but of course to a degree it does. That's really my only constructive is like go back to the first 10 pages and make sure that everything's utterly necessary through the end. So yeah, I'm really on board for this one.
I'm sorry, I just read Cheyenne's comment there.
It says, let's see. I guess that.
Headbutts him in the crotch isn't the worst, or uses those vicious teeth. I mean, you've established the vicious teeth.
Yeah.
You could just have him bite him in the crotch. That'd be funny too. Yeah.
Well, that would be physically impossible though, because Wells is on top of him, basically, just knocking the shit out of him.
Yeah.
I don't know how he would bite him in the crotch in that position.
Do we need to explain
that? That's the only thing that's stopping me. If you guys can figure out something better, I'll have a dick biting scene.
Give me a day and I'll come up with one.
Oh God!
I'm glad John volunteered because I was about to volunteer him.
There you go. Oh man! Is it time for Demonatrix?
Yeah.
Is it ever time for Demonatrix?
All right.
Sadly, it's always
little movie. I don't believe you've ever had the pleasure of Demonatrix.
No, just the title right now, which is amazing already. So
okay,
it's definitely the best part.
Okay, Danny, what should little movie prepare for here?
John is a sex pervert.
Yes.
There is weird perverted sex
by the way,
thing.
which is not to say I'm not.
No.
No, I think
particular stories about that.
Yeah.
And it's like first and a half draft. Mm-hmm. And there's a whole lot of backstory that is much less relevant than John suggested is.
There we go. Okay.
If I could actually, if I could just get a quick run through of what's happened so far,
John.
Danny.
Sure. Okay.
So the basic premise of the story is that a girl summons a demon. The demon possesses her body, kills her father. She's arrested for the crime. The demon breaks her out of prison, and now they're on the run from the police and some angels.
Love it.
Also, it's a sex demon.
Yeah, but most of that really doesn't matter.
No.
Like the story quickly did.
Okay. That's just the plot. That's in the way of what it's really about. Got it.
Yeah. That is just the excuse to get the demon to be naked and doing sexual perverted things for as much as possibly as possible on screen.
Nice.
Yes.
Okay.
Let me try. It really is just a vehicle for the TNA.
All right, Danny, go ahead.
Demonatrix is a porn comic about a woman who is putatively innocent. Who's possessed by a succubus who can either take over her body or run around and do her own thing for a limited period of time. And it's about the totally oh my god rough
Vagina gun.
relationship between them while the succubus has sex and murders people.
Yes, pretty much. It's about like basically,
and apparently there's a story about angels.
Yeah, we're basically watching a bender between an indestructible sex fiend and her Valley Girl companion.
The strangely indestructible Valley Girl companion.
Yeah, and there are some angels on occasion that sprinkled in.
And apparently there's a plot with gangsters that's just an excuse for sex.
And there are gangsters, and they have sex with the gangsters, and then the gangsters.
There's the food cart vendors.
Yes, yes, you can't forget the tacos.
No one's had sex with the food cart vendors yet, so I don't think they're real characters. Anyways, the key phrase there was porn comic.
Yeah. All right, who's narrating? Demon Atrix, episode 5.
5. Jeez.
The Devil's Interlude.
Larry, you can regulars do your thing, and we'll figure out the rest as we go.
Okay.
All right. Let's see. We got yes. Interior Gutierrez's office night. An exposed wall safe. Gloved hands use an X-Acto knife to remove the keypad. Once removed, the knife cuts into a green and red wires, exposing the copper underneath. A handheld computer device is connected through the copper clamps to the wires. It scans through several codes. Click. The hand turns the knob, opens the safe. Inside, stacks of cash, passports, a pistol, and ammo. The thief ignores them, instead picks up a USB encryption key. The safe is closed and secured. A painting of a Latino family, young Alberto Gutierrez and his wife and son, is hung back on the wall. Aha. Interior, Serenity Valley Cathedral. Day. Kneeling on a bench, London prays in earnest, tears streaming down her cheeks. Emmy sits down on the bench behind her. London senses her presence. Opening her eyes, she is relieved, sits beside her.
Skinny, why don't you do London?
You're my guardian angel, aren't you?
Emmy smiled at the thought.
No, I'm just a girl seeking her own penance, same as you.
And London dries her eyes.
I told Mikhail I lost the key. I'm afraid he'll never trust me again.
If he truly loves you, I'm sure he'll forgive you.
I'm feeling up to going back to work.
I thought you retired.
Do you have any idea how much rent is in this city?
Tell me about it. But you don't have to stay in the city. Didn't you say you're from the country?
Janet.
What?
Tell us about it, Janet.
Yeah, tell me about it. But you didn't have to stay in the city. Didn't you say you're from the country? There's got to be lots of cheap places to live there.
Go home? They'd never take me back.
Nobody said go home. I just mean there are nice, quiet places where you only have to sleep with the man you love.
But when the man I love is here, what else? What am I supposed to do?
Sometimes you have to do what's best for you and hope that it all works out.
Okay. Interior Metro Police Station. Jacob's desk. Day. Patel enters the bullpen, finds Jacob's piled under a mountain of paperwork.
Preston, why don't you do Patel?
Judge finally granted clearance for the girl's DNA. You will never guess what I found.
Patel takes a seat across from him, holds out a file.
Emily Smith's secret identity?
You say that like you live in a comic book.
Oh.
Jacob takes the file.
That was DNA from over a dozen different girls in the barrel of that gun. One of them.
Oh, Cynthia Howe.
AKA London.
Jacob closes the file, thinks out loud.
Miss Howell, London, was assaulted by Lu Heng. Mr. Lu ends up dead. London is assaulted by Jorge Gutierrez. He's on a plane to Colombia.
Anyone who crosses Smith or her friends ends up dead or gone.
That's quite a stretch. I think your obsession with this girl is getting out of hand.
I'm not obsessed. I'm just curious.
All right, Curious George, just don't let the captain know.
I want to know what this girl is hiding.
Don't you think that the very reason she wears the mask is because she values her privacy in an overbearing, invasive environment?
Only criminals wear masks.
Batman wears a mask.
Exactly.
I feel like the retort should be now who's living in
Biting
a
social
book.
commentary from the Demonatrix right here.
Yeah, I feel like Jacobs needs to come back now who's living in a comic book.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Jacob picks up his phone.
The phone, yeah.
Alvarez, get me a marked car. We're going to take a drive.
Jacobs gets up, grabs his jacket.
Hey.
Alvarez and I are going to the east side.
Should I call SWAT?
Jacob smirks.
I'll call if I need anything.
Patel gives Jacobs a lazy salute.
Good luck, Detective Bullock.
Exterior, the 8th House Motel day. Alvarez and Jacobs park the police car in the practically empty lot. Jacobs takes out his phone.
Danny, why don't you do Miller? Miller,
Sure.
you copy?
Copy that. Oh, sorry.
Wearing his headset with his hands on the controls of the police drone, Miller watches from the eye in the sky. There we go.
Copy that.
The 8th house. 2 hookers stand out on the ledge smoking, watching as Alvarez and Jacobs approach.
Keep your head on a swivel.
Copy. Wait, is that me?
No, that's Alvarez.
Oh, sorry.
Little movie perp. You want to do Alvarez for me?
Yeah, I'll copy. Yeah, I'll do it. Copy.
Right.
And then Skinny, you can do Pepper when she shows up.
All right, Pepper. Anyway, Jacobs approaches the girls, holds up a photo of London.
Excuse me, do you know this girl?
Hookers exchange glances. They walk off, ignoring him. The door opens. Salt steps out.
Stay here.
Jacobs walks into Pepper's motel room. Salt closes the door. Alvarez waits outside. He looks at the 2 hookers, giving him dirty looks. Another door opens. The man from episode 3 exits, straightening his tie. He walks past Alvarez nonchalantly.
Good afternoon, officer.
Good afternoon, Senator.
Interior, the 8th house motel, Pepper's room. Pepper's light.
How can I help you, detective?
Jacob shows the photo of London.
I'm looking for this girl. Thought you might know her.
Can't say that I do.
Jacob steps forward. Salt stays on him, but Pepper waves him off. Jacob placed the photo on her table.
Look closely. Her name is Cynthia Howe, though her fake driver's license says her name is London.
Fake license. She seems like such a hardened criminal.
Actually, it's not really her that I'm interested in. I'm interested in the identity of the little redhead she was seen with. I think she's connected with the Leo Hang's killer.
You think London is connected to Liu Hang's killing?
I think the redhead is, and London is connected to her.
Sounds like a real pickle.
Exterior, the 8th house motel. Lolita exits the room, spots Alvarez. She noticed the other girls staying away, so she approaches.
Hey, sweetie.
I'm on duty, ma'am.
Me too. I read it as I see it, man.
Interior, the 8th house motel, Pepper's room. Pepper takes a long drag off her cigarette.
I'd be happy to look over my employment records. While you wait, I'll have my girls offer you and your man a blue discount.
I'm good waiting right here.
Pepper thinks not too long or hard.
Nope. I don't have any employees who match either of those 2 girls.
Are you sure? Maybe you should check again.
Detective, do you know what my business motto is?
Everybody needs a little spice in their life, but too much salt will kill them.
Oh, Salt steps forward, cracks his knuckles.
Thank you very much for your time.
Exterior of the 8th House Motel. Lolita presses herself against Alvarez.
Are you a gentle lover, Sergeant? I bet you're a gentle lover.
I get no complaints.
Got a girlfriend?
Not currently.
Oh, let's see. With the blue discount, the gentleman's discount, the lonely man discount, I bet I can get really, really low on your fees.
Jacob exits Pepper's motel room, finding Lolita chatting up Alvarez.
Sergeant?
Coming.
Not yet, but soon. Anyway, Alvarez pushes Lolita off. She resists just enough to let their bodies rub against each other.
Put that away. We've got work to do.
Sir.
They head down the steps. Alvarez looks back at Lolita. She smiles and waves. Interior police SUV. Jacob and Alvarez get into their vehicles. Buzz, buzz. Jacob picks up his phone.
How did it go?
What do you think the chances Captain will approve an arrest warrant?
Snowballs have a greater chance of surviving and help. By the way, arrest warrants must be approved by a judge or magistrate.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Interior police station. Tech lab day. Patel sits beside Miller, monitoring the drone feed.
So, is that the plan? We go in and bust them all?
Your faith in me is astounding.
The radio squawks.
Attention all units, we have reports of multiple gunshots at East Lake Boulevard, north of the waterfront. Miller?
Retasking the drone now.
Miller takes the controls. Exterior Dimitri's warehouse. Day. Black SUVs surround the warehouse. Gutierrez leads dozens of Colombian thugs in an all-out gun battle against Alexei's thugs. Inside, Alexei and Mikhail duck behind cover as bullets riddle through the crates. Alexei sends Mikhail off in another direction, leading the team as he takes another to avoid being flanked. Outside, Gutierrez continues to press forward, even as his men are shot down to the left and right. Tech lab. Miller parks the drone out over the warehouse. They watch as the gun battle continues.
Looks like the war we were expecting just started.
I'll call SWAT.
Exterior.
By the way, SWAT acronym.
Yes. Dimitrov warehouse. The bullet hits Gutierrez, dropping him to the ground. A few more gunshots ring out, and then silence. Gutierrez coughs, choking on his own blood. Alexei walks out of the warehouse. Pistol in hand, he stands over Gutierrez.
Preston, why don't you do Alexei?
Nice try. I'll give you A for effort, though.
You.
Alexei kneels down.
You.
Alexei waves his hand.
Okay, spit it out.
My key. You. My key.
Your key. Oh, you mean this encryption key? I guess I'll be taking that now, won't I? You didn't by any chance bring it with you?
Alexei pats down Gutierrez's pockets.
You stole my key.
Alexei gives Gutierrez a sharp look.
Stole it? I planned to. Hadn't gotten around to it yet. Somebody beat me to it.
Alexei stands up, thinks to himself.
You.
Bang! Alexei fires a single shot into Gutierrez's head. Tech lab, angle, drone, feed monitor. The monitor shows Alexei walk back into the warehouse.
Tell me you were recording.
All of it.
I'll call the judge.
Arr!
Arr. All right. Strangely, no sex in our sex story today.
Yeah.
I was about to say, you guys were hyping it up.
Yeah.
Very restrained this time, yeah.
Oh, Well, you missed the last one with the vagina gun. I know I've said that a lot. But
Don't,
Wait.
by the way, if you're curious, do not go back and watch last week's episode because nothing
Or
compared to that
do.
is not worth it.
So, by the way, Skinny writing shows the characters' hearts. It's what I like about his stories.
There you go.
All right,
that's
so,
sweet.
all right. Well, we had some action. We had fighting over a key. I wasn't quite sure where those two came from or what the key was about, but we had fighting over a key.
Oh, good.
We had Lolita being Lolita, and Emmy surprisingly seemed to kind of change tack on this one. I feel like she was kind of giving out some healthy, sane advice in an effort to connect with a friend.
Yeah.
Skinny, what do you think?
I enjoyed it for the most part. I mean, no vagina gun, so I was
No
a bit
vagina gun.
disappointed.
It's hard to top that, Ben.
It is.
It really is. But, you know, I mean, this one had a good bit of action, some solid dialogue. You know, it kept me intrigued.
Larry.
Are you intrigued? Let's see. Yeah, it's got some solid dialogue. It's nice to see the cops back because we've been complaining that the cops have been pretty absent in the last couple issues. So it's good to see them back doing some investigations, actually, like, you know, pushing the plot a little bit forward that way. So yeah, solid.
Little movie.
Yeah, I was expecting like a Caligula type thing, but actually it ended up working for you because it actually makes it like more suspenseful. Like, all right, when's this gonna get weird and kinky, right?
Yeah.
And it never really came, and there was a sort of suspense to that. I don't think I've ever, you know, read or seen any form of media where the suspense is like you're gonna see something kind of like, you know, spicy, you know. So
Well,
I thought that was pretty cool. You had something to say, Preston? Sorry.
I mean, I was curious. You know, you're telling me that over on DeviantArt, like Demonatrix is blowing up your follows. What is it your audience seems to like? What elements does the audience like in the story? I mean, you know, are they just there for the sex scenes? Because if so, then you're not providing. But are they hooking into the plot on the thing?
I don't know if they're connecting to the plot. They seem to like the character designs of Emmy and Lolita. So
Okay.
when I post stuff with them in it, they seem to connect to those.
So they like the sex.
Boobies, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Danny.
This was the least tedious episode of the Demonatrix I've ever encountered.
There we go.
Incidentally, it also didn't really contain the protagonist.
Yeah.
So I don't know how I feel about that, but at least there was no vagina gun. I'm happy there was no vagina gun. Although my appreciation for weird, fucked up Frank Henenlotter bullshit, also to a degree, reminds me that I kind of wish you tried to top it. So I'm 50-50 on that. But I actually care about these conflicts that you spent the last 4 chapters setting up. So I don't know if that's Stockholm syndrome or like it actually really lands here. But I'm glad you're also fitting the herd, and hopefully by the end of it, focusing on the core story. That was really couch criticism. I'm sorry. Like, yes, actually, I was compelled in the action. The pacing was really good. The transition from scene to scene was totally logical, and the strong through line of the police actually investigating something really helped bring it together. So that was really good stuff.
Cool. Constructives.
Yeah, I don't know, because I haven't heard anything, but I think it would be kind of interesting if, let's say, these detectives, if one of them was a very, kind of that quote unquote Christian type, very, very clean, makes love to his wife, missionary style, very boring. And then to see that type of character get drawn into this seediness could make it a little interesting. I don't know if you have that in past drafts or thought about that, but I think that could be pretty cool. And also I wanted to compliment you. I thought the character interactions were really nice throughout. That's it.
Yes.
Other constructives?
This kind of goes with all of them as a whole. There are certain story elements that I really like, but I hate to say it, but you kind of Spider-Man 3'd it. I feel like there's a lot there's a few plot points that you could probably cut out entirely over the course of it, because I don't know, I want you to focus on more of like the key and other things, like the whole thing like with the burrito guy, and then I don't know,
wasn't
man.
he a character that you care about?
There's a lot of things that I've been anticipating you bring up again, but you haven't. And I feel like, you could probably just either save those for later or something like that.
Cheyenne likes your story in the absence of sex. So she's asking
She's got a really good point.
Yeah.
Like this is good stuff and really drives the conflict forward, but our protagonists are in no way related to the most exciting action of this introduction to an issue.
True. Abby's just sitting in a church.
She's sitting in a
good
church.
Time. She's being repetitive.
Pouring it up. So everyone's being very tame here. Like, I was sort of dismissive about that, but I mean, this is the first issue. It's everyone's first. Every issue of a comic is someone's first issue. So what story are people buying here? And that's a question that hopefully your readers on DeviantArt can help you answer.
5 is kind of an interesting. That's why I called it the Devil's Interlude, because it really only fits as a bridge between 3, 4, and 6. This section of the story, and this is actually only short, it's only going to be 20 pages, and it's really just because to put it in any of the other ones would have went over my 30-page limit that I was trying to keep myself on. So 3, 4, and 6 are all 30 pages, and I had to basically connect some dots and fill in some story gaps, and it ended up being these 20 pages. So it's why it's kind of like it kind of is a little bit different, and then because I really didn't kind of know what to do with it.
A weird.
It's a shame that these happen to be the best story. These happen to be the best pages I presented, according to you guys, in a while. Yeah. And it's the ones that are just like, they just exist to basically bridge a gap between 2 different episodes. So,
I mean, Preston's been talking about like character interactions and motivation the whole time, and like fleshing that out. So that's a thing. I was gonna say, if this were actually like, an act bridge in an actual screenplay, this lands very, very well. It's like, fuck you, Act 3. Right? Like now everything's gonna because its way into some sort of conclusion.
Right.
So please take that as a compliment, because it was meant to be. Like that actually works, like in terms of like where you are in the story for a longer story.
Yeah, the USB encryption key plot line was supposed to be a 3-episode arc. And I kind of didn't know what to do with episode 4, so I kind of took the whole undocumented workers being harassed idea that I had, and I kind of plugged it into this episode arc, which is probably why episode 4 didn't land very well, because it was kind of like a totally separate plot that didn't have anything to do with the encryption key subplot, and I just kind of plugged it in because I needed something to do with my Colombian gangs.
Right. This reminds me, didn't somebody raid a warehouse very similar to this warehouse that got raided like an episode or two ago?
Yes. The Russians went after the Chinese in issue 3. And yes,
But it's a different warehouse.
This is the Russians' warehouse. The Russians went after the Chinese warehouse. This is the Russians' warehouse.
A lot of warehouses.
So everyone's got their own warehouse.
I mean, yeah. Why not?
I mean, it's a major city. There's there's basically 3 crime families.
How are you gonna run an organized crime family if you don't have a
without a
warehouse?
warehouse?
You need a warehouse.
Yeah,
you can change one to a dock.
I've got an extended
This one
family.
is on
I've
the
got
dock.
some guns.
Oh,
I've
good.
got some drugs. Where's my warehouse? That's when you go legit.
But just to add to what you just said, though, about how you really didn't have anything to do with like the gangs, really, so that's why you kind of did something with them now. Is if you feel like you weren't doing anything with them to begin with, like why are they there?
I asked that question myself.
We've all asked that question.
Yeah. I think you've asked that question every time.
I'm not trying to. Like I said, it's
no
maybe
story
something
makes me ask existential questions like John Lamont's Dominatrix.
Okay.
But it just feels like it's the redheaded stepchild that you like force yourself to pay attention to like once in a little while. Like not too much. You don't want them to get attached. Just every so often you just gotta suck it up and take them to the mall or something for the day.
This is why TV shows have a team of writers. I'm basically trying to write a season TV show by myself.
I understand.
This is why TV shows have writers.
But a lot of those TV shows have those what we call filler episodes, and nobody likes those. So, just saying,
Well, that's what happens when really I've got 4 episodes in a 10-episode season, which is 1, 2, 9, and 10.
Yeah. All I'm saying is, from a I'm still at a loss as to understand what the goalposts even are on Dominatrix. Like, is it a porn comic? Because there's an awful lot of plot going on that kind of gets in the way of the sex, but at the same time, the plot, like, are people respond? Like Cheyenne likes the plot, but I don't know if the DeviantArt team likes the plot, and it's like, what is this? I still don't know what the story is really trying to do, and what I'm supposed to feel, and who I'm really supposed to care about. Because I'm 4 issues into this, and I don't know that I really care about Emma. I mean, she was trying to be nice in this one to the other woman that I don't even really know that well. But she was trying to be nice. I don't know why she was trying to be nice, but she was trying to be nice, and I appreciate that.
To Preston's point, it's likewise hard to care about Lolita because she's so invincible.
That's true.
Gun in a Box was funny.
Yeah.
But, there's a lot to recommend funny in Gonzo.
Yeah.
But Lolita's never under threat. Like, in the brief I gave Perp, I was like, and some angels might show up. Like, maybe I was projecting a little bit, but like, presumably something has to happen with this entire cosmic story that you've presumably spent at least 2 solid episodes establishing before moving on to this like USB subplot for episodes 3, 4, and 5. Like, which of those stories is the story that you're telling?
I kind of feel like if you guys saw Boogie Nights, like remember Burt Reynolds' goal throughout that movie was he wanted to elevate the porn genre and to be, in a way, like after people did what they did, they would stay and finish the story, which seems like that could sort of be an angle John is going for, where it's like, it's going to be a which I think is kind of cool in theory, the idea that, you think it's a porn thing, but we're going to have one issue that's kind of like going to give you a nugget of truth, if you will, or something that can make it interesting. if that's what John was going for.
Well,
I mean, I'll buy that. And if by the end of this chunk of story, like Lolita and Emmy are like really locked into this gangster plot, and the A plot and the B plot have a relationship with each other, then that's all of a sudden it's weird, and I have no idea if it'll actually land with your intended audience. But I mean, you're doing something that's. I'll be in for the ride to see how it goes.
Yeah, I think Danny, you mentioned one Frank Henenlotter. How do you pronounce that last name? I don't know.
Henenlotter.
But like,
I think.
Yeah, like he does like those really trashy, sleazy, like Brain Damage and Frankenhooker. But he always has like a little bit of like almost like social commentary or something in there. That kind of I think elevate it from like the trauma stuff and stuff like that.
Yeah.
My idea was more of not so much a porn story, but was more of like those NC-17 art house type stories.
Sure. Yeah, for sure.
Like where it actually has a plot, but like some of the scenes just kind of, push the envelope a little bit. That was kind of really all I wanted to do. It really wasn't meant to be. Some of the things I pushed a little bit harder because of feedback that I got from the group, because people here were just like, well, if you're going to do it, go all the way. But I never really intended. That's why there's so much plot, because it was never intended to be,
But that's where I gotta say, I feel like you should try and go for more of a hard R, kind of thing, than a NC-17, because like you run into this in movies, and you certainly could do it in comics, but I don't know.
Well, see, the problem is
you got fans like Cheyenne who want you to craft a really whiz-bang main story and maybe sprinkle in a couple of sex scenes. And
like they had like those in the 70s, those Italian movies, like the Embrace of the Vampire, that type of thing.
Yeah,
there's like an art to it,
Right. That's kind of what. Yeah, that was kind of where I was leaning toward trying to see if I could do.
Okay.
And that was just kind of what it was. And the basic premise is that Emmy is supposed to be. What the other idea was but the basic premise was supposed to be like those like the A-Team or like the Equalizer, those old TV shows.
Emmy and Lolita are buddy cops?
That was the yes.
Okay.
That was kind of the idea.
I want to read that.
It's like Bright.
Okay.
So, John, I think a really strong takeaway from here is everyone agrees that you've written a perfectly good crime drama. So the Demonatrix aspect is the part that needs to be weaved into it and not just be parallel to it.
Yeah, I could agree with that. That's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
If that makes sense. So.
All right. More constructives, or I don't want to beat it to death. I think No,
I think we. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Another week. I think we're out of scripts. So, little movie. What'd you think?
It was fun. It's fun. A lot of good stuff in there.
And I do.
Yeah, it's cool because I could see there's a lot of opportunity. There's a lot of good stuff in everyone's work that could easily be ironed out or molded into something very interesting.
All right. Well, next week you can come on and present pages yourself.
Oh, cool. Yeah, for sure.
There you go. Sounds good.
Oh, that's exciting. Please do.
Yeah. What kind of stories do you like to write?
I do screenplays. I do mostly horror stuff, but I like to combine genres. I think the script I'm going to turn in is actually like a play on like the 80s invitational fight movies, like the Bloodsport or like Enter the Dragon. But with a horror twist.
Okay.
I like it already.
Yeah, the way we pitched it was
so like if Mortal Kombat but darker.
Yeah, the way we like to pitch it, the way we like to, if David Cronenberg directed Enter the Dragon, is the way we like to pitch it.
All right. Well, I look forward to reading that.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, everybody. Well, tune in next week. We're going to have more exciting pages. This has been Preston Polter, Podcast Comics. Thank you very much for your time. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Good night, everybody.